Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. This is RPG Exploration Society, and this is the Saving Throw Show Network. My name is Kimmy, and I'm going to be your GM today, and I'm going to be running a little game that I made called Deckma. And these are my players.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Pridgeon. You guys might know me from The Broken Pact on this channel and D&D and Wildcards, which we just wrapped up our third season of our ETU show. So I guess you'll figure out whenever that comes back.
Hi, I'm Riley Silverman. You may also know me from The Broken Pact right here on Saving Throw and the D&D channel. I was also on the now finished, I believe, Rat Queens role-playing game show. And I am on the Doctor Who role-playing podcast, Game of Rassilon. We just started our second season about somewhere in mid-January, so we're pretty quickly in there. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Pooja. You can find me normally on the Happy Jacks RPG podcast, oftentimes with Kimmy, where we're playing, currently I'm playing Call of Cthulhu and Vampire 5e.
Nice. I'm Ben Dunn. You can find me here when they let me out of my box.
And like I said, I'm Kimmy. I run the Happy Jacks RPG Network, and I also own Golden Lasso Games, which is the publisher of the game that we are going to play tonight. It's kickstarting right now, so if you go to goldenlassogames.com/kickstarter, you can see we are, as of today, this is our 15th day of 30, and we are 300% funded. So that's pretty exciting. We reached our last stretch goal this morning, so awesome. We might have to come
gold leaf for everyone.
Yeah, there's gold leaf on all the cards, and that'll make so much more sense in a few minutes when you see this game. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Deckma is what we call the R&D for your RPG, and basically it's like a world-building character connection tool that you play because, it's always hard to get people to show up for session 0, so it's like, nope, we're playing a game for it. It's not just send me your backstories. So it usually takes 40 to 90 minutes to play, so if we go through this really fast, then we might end up playing 2 rounds of it tonight. Okay. If you have questions while you're watching, feel free to type them in chat, and I'll answer them as we go.
We can see you this time.
We can. It's very exciting.
It'll be good.
No, seriously, put those pants on now.
Yeah, right. I mean, so it's a tarot-based game, tarot-inspired game. So you use a tarot deck. There's specially printed cards, but there's also going to be a PDF version that you can use if you have a tarot deck that's special to you, because that's a thing for a lot of people who use tarot. So yeah, we're going to go through it in just a second.
Not to sidetrack us, but is it pronounced tarot or tarot? I've heard so many different versions of this recently.
Oh.
Tarot.
I've always heard tarot.
Tarot.
If you're very fancy, it might be tarots.
Tarots.
But I'm not fancy, sorry.
Tarot. Okay, great. Yeah. All right, thank you.
I'm from Southern California. I'm more apt to pop into Valley Girl than anything fancy. For sure. Like, totally. So Deckma creates 3 different things. We've split the tarot deck into 3 different sections. The first is our character connection cards. So these have questions. I'm a 4th grade teacher in real life, so there's lots of questions. So it was right there. These have a blank on them. Usually it's like, blank inspired you to do something amazing. So that is meant to be filled with another PC's name. Then we've got the location cards. These cards create our location. It can create anything from like actual physical places, like, hey, that's the saloon over there, to NPCs, to also like cultural aspects, like what's a slang term that we use in this place, and things like that. So it creates like a lot of culture as well as an actual physical map that we will draw together. I'm a terrible drawer. So I will put squares on things and label them. You are welcome to do the same or be more artistic. And then the last thing it creates with the major arcana cards is world dynamics. So this is our party's relationship to the world around us. A little bit of our history. What's our reputation? Do we owe somebody money? Do they owe us favors? Like all these different things. So together in the next 40 to 90, possibly more if lots of people have questions, minutes, we will create a complete world. That was a lot of information. Thank you for hanging in there for all of that.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it should be good.
I just want to say one of the stretch goals that I'm really excited about on Kickstarter is map assets. So there are all kinds of different, like if you, like so many of us, lack the impromptu map drawing skills, the Samus. One of the things that got unlocked on the Kickstarter is pre-gen map assets that you can cut out and like stick on your map, so it'll look all pretty when you're done, as opposed to looking like in our Demigods game where everything looked like food.
Yeah. Or penises. That's the other thing. When I draw things, it's like, no, it's a horse. I don't know.
It's a hung like
visual.
Yeah. But as we go, we'll be drawing on the map. These are prototype cards. If you can see them, I'm not sure if you can see them on camera. If you go to look at the Kickstarter, put them down here. If you go to the Kickstarter page, you'll see our actual artwork that is being drawn by a fantastic artist named Samantha Terry, and I have also gotten her to draw map assets, so I never have to draw anything ever. I can print it out and glue it down. So, so these are our cards. The first thing we need to decide is, most of the time when you play Decuma, it's going to be a GM coming with it to the table. They're like, hey, I'm running, Shadowrun, and there's already kind of a little bit of, your setting and things like that. Since we're not actually going to be running a campaign after this, we need to decide kind of like what system would we like to be running in and what do we want our setting to be. It can literally be anything. I've done everything from like basic traditional fantasy for D&D to like yesterday I was running at a con, and me and a group of strangers created this moon penal colony that was being attacked for like a trophy setting for that system. So, do we have ideas? What would we like to create?
So, question, because we did have a question about that in chat from T-Boys, about basically what you just said. So the question from T-Boys was, so with this system, do players get to participate in the world building? So, it's kind of up to the GM, basically, like... So if that's what I'm asking, that's how it works. Like, we could build the whole thing, or you can come with some preset stuff and we can start from there.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. If you're doing, hey, D&D, I'm running an adventure path. I don't need, it's in Waterdeep. I don't need to build a location. You just leave out the location cards, and boom, you've got character connections and world dynamics.
Cool.
You can also do the opposite. If you're running a PBTA game, like Masks is one of my favorites.
I played Masks.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm running that right now. But it has great character connection already in there. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of it is tied into the mechanics of the playbooks for PBTA. Yeah. So you would just then leave out the red cards, the character connection cards, and boom, you create a location and world dynamics, and that it's all there.
Cool. Actually, the GM for my Mask game is in chat.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Smiley the Ogre, also known as
Masks
Stephen
GMs
Pope.
are the best.
Yeah. And can you play with just one deck? Like, say you have your dynamics, you've got your locations, but you just want to, so you just want to do just your character relationships and that's it?
Absolutely.
Cool.
You just grab whichever one set of the whichever part of the deck that you want, and you can run with it. I've also had people, we did play testing for 7 months. We had hundreds of people play test. We were lucky enough to put it online and people were really interested. We had people who, if you run PBTA a lot, you know a thing called love letters, which are a thing that you do, especially if there's been a big break in your campaign. And it's oh, hey, so-and-so went and had a baby. We haven't played our game in 3 months, but it's been 2 days for our characters. So you'll come to the table with different things to help make those connections strong again. I've had people come and just do one card each, at the beginning of a session if they've had a big break, to kind of just jump back into that character. So lots of things. And the GM can also play alone. There is a variant that will be released to the game where the GM, if they're just having some writer's block or want to set it up all by themselves, they can also play by themselves.
Cool.
So, So what would we like our setting to be?
I have ideas.
You look like you have ideas, yeah. See, fourth grade teacher, I know when someone makes eye contact with you right away, you're oh, they've got an answer.
So the first idea that came to my head is doing an 80s retro future hacker kind of thing.
Nice. Ooh. Okay.
Or maybe a Victorian England setting. I know these are pretty different ideas, but they sound like neat settings.
I love both of those.
Yeah.
Should we let chat vote between those two things?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want... Okay, repeat them one more time.
80s retro hacker.
Okay, 80s retro hacker.
Retro futurism hacker.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Or...
Can you give an example of what you mean by that? Because I feel like there's a lot of words that I feel like I should understand, but I'm not sure I know how they go together.
You know how they would make sci-fi movies, Tron sort of things in the 70s and 80s that imagine the future in bizarre way, crazy ways, and didn't know what computers could do yet. So
that makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Very
cool.
Or
a Victorian England kind of thing, which can be sort of a mix of this upper crust world and this seedy industrial sort of city
like
kind
historically
of world.
accurate, or more like steampunky?
I don't think there's any reason we need to get locked into accuracy or
I'm a costumer. I mean, really, like
Historical accuracy is overrated.
it is
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it could turn into like sort of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type thing.
Ooh, that could be fun.
You know?
That'd be fun.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm leaning towards that now.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what they say. It's very exciting. But yeah, the system is incredibly flexible. It's written to be system and setting agnostic. So, like, we went through part of the reason we play tested for so long with so many people was we were like rewriting the questions and changing them so that they could be like work with anything. Because as people were playtesting, they're like, hey, like we were making this and this question really feels like it's for high fantasy or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So we really wanted to like weed out as much of that as we could. So it's like,
I like that.
yeah, neck and neck. Oh my goodness. So close.
Now we're getting rated.
Right in the middle of a vote.
Hey!
They came at us while we were like in the midst of a power struggle.
This is an attack on our democracy.
So we can start handing out cards while we're deciding. So I'm going to give you cards. Please keep them in front of you. Do not turn them over yet. So I'm going to give each of you 2 character connection cards.
Ooh.
And then you will each get 2 location cards. And you can put them in however you want. There's people who know about tarot who put them in very specific like formations. There's people who just put them in a line in front of them. There's people who spin them before you flip them over. Like there's people who have like whole things. And then you each get 1 World Dynamics card. So
does it matter how it does matter, like in tarot, how it's laid out?
yes. So this is all the questions on the cards are inspired by the actual tarot meanings of the cards. So in tarot, if something is inverted or upside down, it has a different meaning. So all of it's influenced by that.
Cool.
So-
I'm really excited to find out what's going on here.
It's exciting, yeah. So and then as the GM, I get all World Dynamics cards. So
Sorry, I just see a cringing Megan holding this. It's fantastic.
awesome. So each of you have 2 character connection cards, 2 location cards, and 1 World Dynamics card. As we go through, we'll flip them over in a specific order, and we will start answering all the questions. As the GM, I get all World Dynamics cards. I said that a second ago, but obviously I don't have a character, so I'm not going to create character connections. And as the GM later, like I can create anything I want in the world. So having me have location cards, it's a little like...
Yeah.
I can also give suggestions. Like it's a very open discussion game. So it's not like you flip over your card, you answer, then we go on to the next one. It's not like a quiz in class or something. I'm not going to make you stand and recite your multiplication tables. But then,
Thank God.
yeah, right?
And is it fine if you know nothing about tarot in this? Like you don't
Absolutely.
need to...
It's like if you do, it's sort of like an Easter egg. It's like, oh, hey, this is cool how this ties in with the meaning of the card.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't, it's like, oh, that's a pretty picture. The question says this. Yeah. So all you have to really be able to do is flip it over and read the question that's facing you.
That's cool.
So, because when I started this, I had a rough idea about tarot, but I was like, hey, I know it does things, and people like tell futures or something. I've had to do a lot of research to make as I develop this game. I'm lucky I have this amazing all-women team working with me to do the Kickstarter, and 2 of them are like, one of them's a professional tarot reader.
Nice.
And then one of them, like the artist is actually very proficient in tarot herself. So she's like tying in all the original art with like great meanings and stuff like that. We're actually releasing a video today. We filmed it today. It's been a bit long day about her and like the meanings of all the cards. So to celebrate hitting our 30K goal. So it's very exciting.
Awesome. Also, I just want to say, this color purple is the best color purple.
Isn't it pretty?
I don't know
like
if you guys can see it clearly in chat,
It's
but
very
it
pretty.
is the best.
It's the best.
I'm just sitting here in a purple shirt.
Yeah.
I know, but this is...
No, it's fine. It's fine, man. It's fine. You know
Look,
what?
it's a top tier purple Riley.
right.
For those who can't see, I pushed the X card.
Yeah. So the cards also, when you flip over a card, a character connection card, I know we're still doing the voting, so we'll figure that out in just a second. Oh, yeah. Victorian England won with 7 votes. Cool. So we're doing
man.
like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type thing. Perfect.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. The red and the blue cards, the location and the character connection cards, you're sort of the facilitator for that. So you get, especially character connection cards, you do have to have a consent of the person you're making a connection with. They have to be okay with it. But you are also kind of like the kind of final adjudicator. If people are like giving you ideas, that's totally fine. Don't feel like you have to be silent when someone else flips over a card. And be like, hey, that sounds good for our characters. But you, as the person who flipped it over, kind of like, oh, I think I like this idea better. And you get to kind of be the final
cool.
arbiter on that. For the world dynamics cards, those are meant to be completely collaborative. Those are the purple ones. So those, like, we're all going to come up with ideas, and everyone at the table has to kind of agree on those because they involve usually the whole party. Okay? Cool. All right. The other thing, X card. There are 2 X cards on the table. If you can't see them, the X card has an important mechanic. Like always, it's it's something if you're uncomfortable. But the X card is also used in this game if you don't like a card you get. Not because it's uncomfortable. You're like, hey, that's a really boring question. I don't like that one. I have friends who've played this enough times with the beta testing that they are very snobby about the questions they get now. So they're like looking for the question they want. So like, nope.
Like, we've done that question to death.
Yeah. I answered that last game. I don't want that one. Like all these things. So feel free. I specifically designed it that way if you've played For the Queen or something of that nature because it normalizes the use of the X card. And then also if there's something that makes you uncomfortable, anything from, hey, we're making a Wild West town and, oh, Sally the prostitute with a heart of gold. It's like, oh, my mom's name is Sally. Let's maybe not with the Sally name. And you don't have to explain. We won't ask any questions. We'll just steer away from it. Same thing if it's something that's more personal. We don't ask any questions. We're not going to be like, well, what was the question again? Why didn't you like it? So none of that. We'll just kind of like, okay, a different idea. We'll go there.
Yeah. And you mentioned before we started, because the cards that she went through are colored, but you're going to make them, for people who are colorblind, they're going to actually have identification symbols so people can see them still.
Absolutely. That was one of the best pieces of feedback we got in our playtesting, and this is why I'm a huge fan of playtesting a lot for a long time before you actually come out with a game. We got a lot of feedback saying, hey, I love your cards. It's hard for me to tell them apart. So then... So the cards, if you go look on the Kickstarter, goldenlassogames.com/Kickstarter, I'm going to say that a lot more, get used to it. You can see the prototype backs of the new cards that we're going to have. And thank you, Tom. And and you can see for that, we have the red connection cards. They have suns on the back. It's still, you can't tell which way is up still on them, the way it's designed. The blue location cards have stars on them. And then the purple World Dynamics cards have moons on them. So you're able to differentiate them even if you can't see what colors they are. Cool. All right. So we're doing like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-ish in Victorian England-ish. And yeah, let's come up. When you come to the table to play Deckma, generally you'd have a character at least idea.
Sure.
So some systems, they encourage, you to build the character at the table. That's fine. You can do that. If you're playing something like D&D where, you want to show up with stats, you can do that too. For our purposes today, literally all you need is a name and a vague concept to start playing Deckma. So like, my name is Billy, and I am a runaway kid who actually is the underworld boss, but nobody knows. Like, boom, that's enough to play Deckma. It's a lot to play Deckma, actually. That's a lot of backstory. So, does anybody have ideas about what they... Oh, okay, goodness.
Gerald. Gerald is a the steam pipe cleaner. Works mainly in the sewers, polishing those steam pipes, making sure that they're nice and clear.
Nice.
Steam.
Nice.
No.
Did you put Gerald?
No, Ben doing
Gerald.
Accents. Yeah. You'll notice they are terrible at everything. So
you're doing eye contact again. Do you have
I have an idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I mostly just came up with the name Lord Byron Tyne. and he's I'll say he's like a rich, eccentric aviation interest person. Like he wants to figure out the flight thing and probably has hot air balloons and things like that. He's considered very eccentric. That's all I know right now.
Okay. Perfect. Riley?
I'm going to play, her name's Ashla, Lady Ashla. And I think that she is, I'm wearing an Ahsoka Tano hat tonight, so I'll say that she is a member, she was a member of some sort of like secret like kind of like policing type society, but she has left that, and now she's kind of a rogue, kind of like a Ronin type character.
Okay.
We'll say that.
Free agent.
Like it.
Yeah.
More like mercenary or more on her own, like making sure she's doing good?
I think kind of in the middle of those two. I think she does do mercenary work, but I
Okay.
think she also has like a bit of like a code of honor of her own that she won't take jobs if she thinks that they're like corrupt or whatever.
Nice, I like it. Pooja.
I am gonna play Millie, and I think that she has a very small, completely above board, totally not legal, and definitely not paying off the cops to subsidize her gambling establishment.
Okay.
Yeah.
We saw a question in the chat. Does Deckma have a special meaning? Yeah, Deckma in when the Romans stole everything that was Greek, they stole the Fates, which are the goddesses of like mortals' lives, and in that Deckma is the middle one. So we have one goddess who weaves the thread of life. Deckma is the middle goddess. She allots the thread of life. And then, I forget, Morta, I think, is the one who cuts it at the end. And that just seemed like a great name, like giving out what the threads of life to people.
I like that.
Also, it has the word deck in it, and it's a deck of cards, and that made my nerdy heart super happy. So that's what Deckma means.
Synergy.
Yeah, it's not from tarot at all. It's just a totally different thing.
I was wondering if that's where we got the word deck from. Like when it comes to deck, I wonder if that's where deck of cards comes from.
To Wikipedia!
So, yeah, to go. Yeah.
If not, put it in Wikipedia now.
It doesn't matter if it's red linked. I'll still
Yeah.
believe it's true.
Yeah.
The deck usually means like tens, like it's a like
okay. Oh yeah, it makes sense.
yeah. So, but it might be. Who knows? All right, perfect. So we have our characters. I'm the GM, so I don't have a character. So I think we're ready to go. The only thing we have to still agree on is tone. And well, we picked a setting, but we kind of need like, are we doing a like good society, sort of like historical, kind of like not reenactment, but like play type thing, or are we going to be like Extraordinary Gentlemen where we have powers and we have special abilities? That's an important thing to kind of decide too.
Well, the tone I'm getting from what everyone is kind of saying here is that it seems like nobody has like superpowers or anything like that, but things might be a bit heightened, right?
Capable,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Super capable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like anachronistic technology, but like very steampunky. Yeah, I don't think if any powers exist, it's like more like psychic powers or like that kind of thing versus like magic or
So, like,
maybe it's a little
normal.
magic.
Yeah.
or
So
not,
like
but-
like Victorian Green Arrow and Batman versus like Superman, Wonder Woman.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay.
I enjoy
Fabulous.
Keep you right into it.
Yeah. And then tone. So tone is something that's really important to agree on for any campaign ahead of time. I also really like citing specific examples from like TV shows or movies because that like locks everyone in the same. Because like my idea of gritty and your idea of gritty might be very different.
Sure.
So what do we think? What do we want our tone to be?
I mean, we've mentioned League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I feel is a nice balance of witty, humorous, but also dark.
Yeah, I don't want to go so angsty as like Batman and Era, like we just mentioned. But
Right.
I've not read the Extraordinary Gentleman comic. I've only seen the terrible movie. So I don't know if that's my best frame of reference. So I get just I don't know if that's
Hellboy,
It's so
BPRD.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's base it on the movie then, since that's something that seems like a universal
Sure.
understanding.
Which has got kind of
Yeah.
like an adventure tone with some seriousness
Moments,
to it.
yeah. And then also some kind of funny moments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like some maybe like vague like connections to literature that we know about. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of okay.
Yeah, nice, perfect.
And like gritty like the Goonies.
There you go. Nailed it. So I'm
Yes,
also
T-Boys. I said terrible movie. Deal with it.
Gotham by Gaslight is amazing. So fantastic. I actually like years and years ago I did a Batgirl steampunk cosplay. We had a big group and it was very cool. Anyway, back to my game that I made. So, all right. So we have all our things. We might need a little bit of reminder about character information and just checking for pronouns for your characters. We've got Lord Byron Tyne.
Yep, he's a he.
He, him. Okay. And Lady Ashla.
Yeah, she's a she.
She, her. Okay. And Millie.
She, her.
Okay. And Gerald.
Eh.
Yeah.
I mean, he, him, but eh.
Okay. Nice.
No one really addresses Gerald.
All right, fantastic.
I never thought that movie being terrible would be the most controversial thing I ever said.
It's a fun movie.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's also part of what made Alan Moore stop letting people make his things, his stuff in the movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, very
great.
possible.
Didn't like, I know I don't want to get off topic with that movie, but didn't like Sean Connery threaten to punch the director at some point? Like there was like a really terrible like on set. Anyway,
I think he does that as a standard.
just to show dominance on set.
Okay. Comes and just punches a random person every day.
Nice.
Always just like
Yep.
Almost
people
James
live
Bond.
in fear until he punches someone.
It's in his contract.
Yeah.
So.
But once you've been punched, you're in.
Yeah.
All right, so just to recap, our location is Victorian-ish England.
Mhm.
Our setting is sort of like very capable crime / fighters of different types who come together in this period. But no like actual superpowers that we've created so far. Doesn't mean it won't happen.
Sure.
And our tone is like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-ish, like adventure with some light and some like more serious moments.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, great. Then I think we are ready to play. The other thing that we're going to be doing while we're doing location cards is we're going to be creating a map, as I mentioned before. So I'm going to draw. I actually don't know what the outline of Victorian England, so like when I say Victorian-ish. So I'm going to draw the outline because I think the best thing for us to create together today would be our city. I've done everything from individual, like a haunted house where you created individual rooms and different things in these rooms and secret passages to like full continents and planets with Deckma. So I can really do everything and it's very flexible. But I'm going to draw an outline that I'm going to try really hard not to make look like anything bad. And it will be the outline of our big city. So as we go through, you can add things to the map. And I am going to add like a river through it.
Did we decide on London as actual London, or are we just saying London-esque type city? Are we? Is it an England-like thing, or are we still kind of deciding if we want it to
The
be?
largest city in
Yeah.
the continent.
London-like.
Okay, that's what I was curious. Is it
Yeah.
the bird kind of thing? Is it something like that?
That opens us up to also knowing nothing about London.
That's what I was. That's kind of what I was
That was
leaning
a
towards. Like,
So, and I'm also
Good.
going to draw a river through it because since we're London-ish.
Now you drew a butt.
Dang it!
or a flux capacitor.
I did. Or,
Oh, it is.
it is that. It's like an
Or
amoeba
it's a
flux
Girl Scout
capacitor.
Right.
it's
That's what it
trefoil.
It's the scariest.
This is why I hired an artist for the game. Don't worry, I didn't draw the cards. So this is going to be the outline of our thing. This is a river. Here, I'm going to label it. Just labeling is important.
We've got blue. Do you want me to like draw a little
Oh,
blue?
you could. Here, you
in
get
it?
to label it.
Yeah.
As a GM, I am delegating.
Oh,
the
it's
drawing
kind of like a
abilities.
little-
No, you've made it worse.
I love Al Major's suggestion there. I wish that I knew enough about that era's authors to be able to play like Mary Shelley as like a
That would be
samurai
so
Ronin.
fun.
Like,
Oh yeah, for a campaign that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So
Where,
good.
like, we weren't coming up with things and having to play them in the next 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
You could do some research.
yeah, if you're basically playing a role playing game that was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but with authors.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so let's get started. Do any of you have any questions before we get going? I'll keep explaining as we go through, but
Not so far.
no?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
pretty good. So the first thing we're going to do, one at a time, we're going to go around and you're going to flip over one of your character connection cards, which are the red ones in front of you. So it does not matter. We can go in a specific order. We'll probably mix it up as we go because I get bored and I don't like just keep doing circles. So Pooja, do you want to flip over one of your cards?
Sure. You have feelings for blank, but haven't told them.
Nice. I know. And feelings in this, again, it's meant to be generic. It can be romantic feelings, it can be anger, it can be resentment or jealousy, like any type of feeling.
I am going to say that I have feelings for Lady. I can't read my own handwriting now.
Ashla?
Ashla.
Ashla.
I was like, it looks like it says Lishla.
Yeah.
It just looks like my
Close.
pen ran out of ink like as I was writing the names down. But I have feelings for Lady Ashla, and I haven't told her because she's so like far, not just out of like my station, but so out of my world of influence. She comes into the casino and like I see the way that she moves and the way that she presents herself. And she's so confident, and she's assured of her place in the world, and she struck it out, and she's independent and has made it.
And there's probably like a slight air of danger to her in a sense.
I need my Velma fans.
Yeah, right? You gotta get those.
Absolutely. Like, just the way she moves is a little bit predatory, but like, yeah.
That's what makes it good.
I like that. Very good. Nice. The Owl Mage asked, can it be pure indifference? Absolutely. Like, that adds like a layer too. It's all about just adding layers to these ideas. So pure indifference absolutely adds stuff to a story. It's basically about spoiling the GM and just giving them a ton of stuff to work with before you even start. So awesome. Okay. You want to go this way, Riley?
Sure. So, it's just for the fun of the tarot element, is there a way that as a tarot card deck I should maybe do this, or
if you wanted to lay it out a specific way, I sort of read tarot now just because I've written so many of these questions.
Yeah.
But you can lay it out however you like.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong way. I've asked this question to flip over a tarot card.
Okay.
Some people do it end to end. Some people do it sideways. Some people spin it and then flip it over. Whatever you'd like.
Cool. I'll do this.
Okay.
So this was right side up.
Okay.
It says, so I see, so the way you flip it, it's whatever's facing up towards is what you read. That's so,
exactly.
just for people who can't see that for camera, like, so this was what was at the top when I flipped it, so if I flipped it the other way, I would have read that part on the bottom.
Yeah, the questions are actually facing different directions, so whichever one is facing you is the one you read. So.
You shared a deep desire with blank. What made you trust them? I like that. I'm going to say that I think I shared my desire with Willie. Is that
Gerald?
Gerald. Why did I get Willie?
Doesn't matter.
I think because you said like he was a steam something operator, and I was thinking Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
In my head.
Nice. Yeah.
I think
It's what I do in the sewers. So
yeah. And I think that I shared with Gerald my desire to. Sometimes I wish that I could abandon this like life that I've like gotten myself stuck in, because even though I've left the organization that I was part of, I was raised in it and I'd never really known another way of being, and I do wish I could kind of live the more carefree, just like doing some sort of like easy like menial task and like just having like a free life around it instead of like having to always feel like I have a duty to accomplish.
I like that.
it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I trusted you because I felt like you would understand what I meant by that.
Yeah. So a really important part of this is like the consent part, because even though it's just like, hey, I told you something, like making sure that both players are good with it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment.
Sure.
I want you to think about what the organization that you left was called.
Okay.
So we don't have to answer that right now. But like as we're going, it might be a good idea to come up with something.
Cool.
Because as the GM, that's one less thing I have to do later. Nice. All right.
Okay. So, mine says, blank wants you to try something new, but you aren't interested. What is it, and why avoid it?
That's a lot.
Okay.
Like it.
That's interesting. So right now, I guess what I need to figure out is like, one, why do they like want me to try something new? So like, what's their relationship with me in that way? And so far, you guys have one, and you guys have something connected, but it can be anybody, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then I'll say that. What was your character's name again?
Lady Ashla.
I'll say that Lady Ashla wants me to basically stop working with because I've been doing these gunpowder experiments to like try and make a propulsion system that will like make me get flight working, and you want me to stop because people keep dying.
Okay. Yeah, I'll consent to that. I like that. I think that like I think I want you to either stop or like get your safety figured out before you keep testing it out and like
Right.
yeah.
Right, but things keep exploding, and it's becoming perhaps something of a menace in the areas of town that I do my work a little bit.
So these are accidental deaths?
Yeah, I wouldn't say people actually. Well, what I would say is I don't think people actually die. I'm going to tone that back.
Okay.
But it's been like warehouses have like
Got it.
exploded.
Lots of destruction.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, good. Very good. Okay, I wanted you to think of the most important building that you accidentally destroyed.
Okay.
All right, Ben. Oh, see, he does the rotate thing first.
You did something to help blank get ahead. What did you do? Oh, well, absolutely. What was your name?
Millie.
Yes. So, yeah, I helped Millie get ahead with her little gambling establishment by turning off all of her competition's steam to their places. So it got extremely cold, and no one wanted to go there anymore. Just for tuppence or two.
I mean, you got to take care of your friends.
Absolutely. And that's okay with you, Pooja?
Yep, great.
All right, very nice.
I love it.
So everyone's
I love
flipped
that I
over.
have a man down below.
Yeah, literally. All right, very nice. So we've all flipped over character connection cards. So to end the round, the GM flips over one of the world dynamics cards.
Okay.
So this one says, our group doubts a well-known trusted figure. Who are they and why do we distrust them? So somebody in our location that like other people trust for some reason. We don't trust them. And this is like collaborative, so people can just like throw stuff out there. They can be different ideas. We can go with lots of different things.
We could like go big and make it like the Empress or the Emperor or something like that.
Yeah.
It could also be, I was thinking, a rival casino owner, like somebody who has a little bit more like high society connections, or it could be like someone who's like close friends with the emperor, or like, has, like
Right.
or some with the Pope.
Nice. I mean, these are all great.
That could be neat. Someone who's like the like bishop of something or
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it because it's like the pillars of power.
Yeah,
Okay.
Could I add a little to that?
sure. That's the whole
The
point.
reason that we don't like them is because we know that they're part of that shadow organization that you were.
The only reason why I don't like that for me, for my character, I don't want to say that they were like an evil organization. Just like she
okay.
didn't think, like she just didn't agree with their ethics. So it's like she went from being a samurai to being like a ronin. Like she doesn't,
Okay.
they're not corrupt, but she just didn't feel like she meshed with their rules and their
Okay.
organization.
What if we mix like two of those ideas? It's someone who's like a high religious figure, and we know through Millie's connections that they actually have a big gambling problem.
Oh, that's good.
So then it's like a mix of someone from a gambling, another gambling establishment, and like someone. Okay,
Oh, and
perfect.
it's really like it could be interesting that the reason why we don't trust them is not just that they gamble, but that we know that they're in a significant amount of debt,
Yeah.
and that is being leveraged against.
So yeah, their decisions in power are
Yeah.
not just them doing the best for
Yeah, they're suspect.
the king's church or whatever it is.
Nice.
I know we're throwing around lots of different potential hierarchies, but
Yeah.
Well, that's fun though.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually going to have Millie. Why don't you add your gambling establishment to the map, and then we will add this rival or / different establishments. Oh, we
That's
lost
never coming
the marker. It's never coming back. It's fine. Yeah, they're the cheap classroom markers. The caps don't stick on the ends well, so I apologize.
I'm gonna say that
Shouldn't steal them from school anyway. So.
the kind of more disreputable area of town is over here on the outskirts next to the river. The river flows this way. It doesn't necessarily smell real great over here.
Yeah.
But my establishment's set a little bit back from there. It's like a little...
What was the name of the fate that you mentioned? That's the first one, the one before DECUMA? The one's like the Weaver
The
card?
one I didn't name the game after, so I'm not sure. That one.
Then you know what? I'll make it
Yeah.
easier. I'll say that
Okay.
my group is called the Society of the Weaver, and that's
Okay.
all. Instead of having
I like
nothing
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
So like they're all about like watching the weaves of faith and stuff like that.
I like that a lot. Very nice.
I'm getting
Good job.
It's very Assassin's Creed-y.
That's kind of what I was kind of thinking of in my head.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of making it the one that cuts the thread, like we're the ones who end the. I was like, I don't want them to be like murderers necessarily.
Yeah,
but,
Clotho?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's
Lachesis.
Clotho,
Yeah,
I think,
Clotho
might be
is
the weaving one.
the Weaver,
Yeah, I don't know if it's Greek or Roman, though. I think that's the Greek name.
Clotho is...
Which I can say the Weaver, and that'll make it easier.
Yeah,
I like the Weaver
And then they
anyway.
can have the whole
Yeah,
spider
Weaver is
motifs and
great.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's just...
So I'm going to also have you add, like, we're going to say it doesn't necessarily have to be their headquarters unless you want it to be there, or a safe house for the Weavers. Like,
Okay.
someplace you know that is one of their places.
Cool. I'm going to say.
The system the actual game is using, well, we are not really running this campaign. We're just demoing this tool to set up for it. But I feel sort of like, I feel like we could do this in a lot of different systems. It feels like
Savage
Cthulhu-y,
Worlds,
Savage Worlds could be used for it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's some sort of PBTA hack that has this vibe. I know City of Mist
GURPS.
is...
It's all GURPS.
Yeah, GURPS.
We're just
all GURPS.
Everything is going to be GURPS.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Groups all day. Yep.
No one told me that would
We
be
have
GURPS.
27 die.
Yeah. But yeah, I know City of Mist is meant to be, that's a new sort of PBTA hack thing. It's meant to be like 20.
That
Oh, you did? Oh, I love that. Yeah, we do that too. But it's meant to be more like noir, but I feel like you could like reskin it in Victorian times and
totally.
fit the feel of this pretty easily.
Yeah, and actually that would be a really good fit too, because especially if you were leaning more into the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, because you can pick literary characters as your like rift of kind of thing.
I was like Big Bad Wolf, Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, I was Dionysus.
Nice.
So.
Oh, nice. That'd be
fun.
Go ahead and add to the map, like maybe it's Lord Tyron?
Byron Tyne.
Byron Tyne, that's what it is, sorry. Got close, mix them together, but it's fine. Lord Byron's like estate maybe, or if you have, maybe you don't have an estate here, or maybe you just have a house in this
So
town.
I was thinking that he sold his estate and just bought like a row of warehouses to like work things in.
Perfect. Why don't you add that?
But in that row, there's like at least 3 burnt out.
There's just all these things.
Yeah.
Nice. And make sure we're labeling things too. Not that I don't have complete faith in all of your drawing abilities, but
Well, where do you see my writing abilities?
Yes.
It's not a whole lot better than my drawing
I
abilities.
taught kindergarten. It's okay. I can read it all. But it also
Not that
helps.
fourth graders are really that much better.
No, fourth graders are not much better. But it also helps, like, if we were actually playing this campaign, it would probably be a week or two before we actually came back and did session 1. So it's just helpful to have those notes later.
I'm gonna call the like area of town that he basically bought up and just runs his stuff out of Gunpowder Row.
Perfect. Now, is that its
not wanna
official
go
name, or is
No.
that no? Okay,
Yeah.
like that seems a little on the nose, but
After
I love.
the first 3 explosions, that's what the people on my side of town started calling it.
Yeah.
And they also know that it is a no smoking zone.
We have a question about the art on the cards.
Yes. Who did the art on these cards? This is art that I actually bought online at like one of those buy art websites. So I don't actually have the art for this. I'm allowed to use it for my prototype decks, but I'm not allowed to sell it commercially. So it's very beautiful, and it was, when I first got it, it was a whole bunch of elf white looking people. So I went through a Photoshop and like made it more diverse because it bugged me. But the new art that we're doing, if you go to the Kickstarter page, goldenlassogames.com/Kickstarter, you can see is all done by Samantha, my friend called Samantha Terry. Thank you for the link. And we decided to go with like a shadow puppet silhouette motif.
Oh, cool.
Because these are very high fantasy kind of looking. There's like swords and all these different things. We wanted something that was more generic because that's the whole point of the system. So this way people can look at a card, and when the main figures are mostly silhouettes, it's easy to like kind of picture your own character or whatever you're making in them. So they're really pretty. And they get to be gold now. I'm very excited.
What am I doing?
So I want you to add, where's the entrance to where you go underground for our city?
So my entrance.
Yeah. Where you would. And maybe no one else knows about it. Maybe you've shown them. Maybe everybody. Maybe it's like a regular entryway, whatever you'd like. So usually after we do, you can add things to the map with all characters either before or right after you do the first set of cards. I like doing it right after because it kind of like, by then you kind of like, oh, okay, to answer those questions kind of forced you to kind of reflect on your character. And then it just kind of gets us started. So before we do our first location creation round, I like saying that, location creation, then this next round will also be adding things to the map for every card. Now, some of the cards have things about like cultural aspects, superstitions, like, thank you. Good job. You guys can see, I think you can see right there. Perfect. Thank you, Dom. And as we go, we'll add things there. So if you get something that's like, hey, what's a slang term we use? Like, think of a way, maybe someone graffitied it somewhere. So just like add it somewhere on the map. Just so, again, so when you come back to play the campaign, hypothetically, like we've got all that info there.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Would someone else like to go first this time? Ben, why don't you go first this time?
Am I doing the character?
You're going to be doing one of the blue cards. So this is a location card.
So, someone in our location brings up sad memories for you. Who is it, and what do they remind you of?
Right. So when it says someone on there, it's not a blank, so you don't have to have it be a PC. So this is an opportunity for you to create new locations and new and NPCs for the campaign.
Not to be too on the nose, but it's definitely the headmistress of the orphanage that I was brought up in.
Nice.
She was like my mother, and she was cruelly murdered
That's awesome.
near my end of my stay there.
Why don't you add the orphanage to our map then? Thank you. And make sure you put you label it and also put her name on there so we remember.
Abigail.
Yeah, and Griffin88 asked, can this be used for every genre? Yes, it is. It is designed to be system agnostic and work with everything. And we've tried to break it many times. So far, it's held up over with everything. So nice, perfect. All right, let's have someone else flip over a card.
Okay, so boom. You used to be close to someone in our location, but that ended. Who? What happened? So I'm going to say I'm gonna say Lord Byron, even though like he's a full adult, is on the younger side. He's still kind of like a rebel, you know, and his father is one of the like his mother and father are like sort of some of the highest nobility in the city.
Right.
And he was supposed to kind of take over their estate, but instead has gone on like this crazy like science experiment invention thing. And so they have a manor in the like nice part of town,
Right.
and he's not allowed like anywhere on those premises.
Okay, nice. Will you add that to our map, please?
Yes.
And also, if you want them to have names other than Lord and Lady Byron,
Yeah.
you can add that as well. Write their names on there.
Okay.
Awesome. You want to go next, Riley?
Why don't I let Pooja go next because she went first last time, and that way we waited so long for you to come around again.
Okay.
I feel like even
That's very fair of you. I appreciate that.
A connection in our location gets you what you need, but at a price.
ooh.
Who? What do you need? I think that I could riff more on the that we have somebody who works in the government system, like, but in imports, like customs official, gets us a needed good, like, that's more of a luxury item from a neighboring country.
Nice.
And what do we need? How steampunk are we going with this?
We get to figure
I'm
that
happy to
out.
lean all the way in.
Yeah.
I think we can go way more steampunk than we
Yeah.
have, right?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Awesome.
But I do feel like that there's some kind of like new. There has been a breakthrough in metal technologies in a neighboring country. They have factories that produce much stronger metals
Ooh.
than we make
Ooh.
here.
Oh.
I love that, and my character would be very excited about that.
Yeah.
And so we need that, and it's normally really difficult to get your hands on. It's expensive, but because we have this in customs, we kind of get like a little kickbacks here.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Very good. All right, so go ahead and add that. So I feel like, especially if there's customs, we also have to add like an ocean somewhere, probably connected to the river somewhere. That is not a flux capacitor. Excellent.
So this is going to be the customs house.
Okay.
And,
Over here.
I named my parents Arthur and Gwendolyn. In case anyone cares.
Very nice. And then there's probably like a dock or something there too.
I know you said you wrote customs, but at first second it looked like Costco.
Very
Just where the
Same thing.
Costco is.
Same thing.
Steampunk costume.
similar vibe, probably. All right, perfect. All right, Riley.
All right. I will go turn it, flip it, and then okay. Oh, all right. Someone has lots of ideas for our location, but might have shady motives. Who is it? Someone has lots of ideas for our location, but might have shady... Oh, I think that could actually tie into our mysterious benefactor. So maybe there is a palace or some sort of like seat for government in the city, and so there is someone who has lots of ideas for like what to be happening in the palace. But yeah, their motives are shady. We already have someone we don't trust, so that would make a lot of sense that that's the the NPC we already kind of started to vaguely
Yeah, so
develop,
the religious figure that
Yeah.
okay. So why don't you add their kind of like base?
Yeah.
What
Okay.
should we name this religious figure?
We should
Yeah.
absolutely do that. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing I was going to be like.
That sounds like a volunteer situation.
Yes.
I'm fine with not naming it.
Oh, weird. Do what you wanted to. No, I'm kidding. We'll say that they are is a vizier? That's just an advisor, right? That's not really a religious person. Okay.
It can be whatever we want in our worlds.
I'm trying to think of what.
Like we could do like elder or
like
something
Let's do
Archdeacon or
Let's
Yeah.
do the let's do the Grand Elder.
Okay.
Of,
Grand Elder. Sounds
Grand
good.
Elder of I'm trying to think of something very steampunky of like the Grand
Put gears
Elder.
on it.
Yeah.
Then it's steampunk, right?
Yeah. The Grand Elder of the Immortal Clock.
There you go.
There's
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm gonna draw. Yeah. So
It's vaguely
their
Mormon, but you know.
their headquarters is going to be a clock tower that's like in this area of town.
Yeah.
So it's
I
kind
feel
of
like maybe like right where the with the
Yeah.
river
Yeah.
splits off.
it's kind of like I think it's like our universe's version of Big Ben.
So it's funny you say that because when she asked earlier what the most important building I had destroyed accidentally was, I was going to say some version of Big Ben. But I'm fine with not having destroyed that.
So I'm just gonna label it as the Immortal Clock, and like
Yeah.
maybe it's like there's like this clock that has, and I do see what you're saying about some pictures.
Yeah.
They
like certain
become very
things.
phallic,
Yeah.
and even if you don't mean for them
Especially
to be.
where you decided to put it.
Yeah.
It's like
See, it was my bad
It's
again.
like right that crack of the peach.
I just want
Yeah.
to say I was going to put the sewer entrance right there, but I thought better of it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
So
I'll take the blame for that because I'm like, hey, put it right
I have to
there.
make sure I really make the L in clock definitive in this.
You know what? I bet it's the sort of thing that if we make jokes about it,
Yeah.
then like people in the world like make jokes about it in taverns and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually really like your idea. What you were saying about you almost made it the clock tower. Maybe you didn't destroy it, but maybe you damaged it in some way.
Yeah,
And
which like could put me very much at odds with.
Yeah. Is that what
like
lets
there's a
your
crack in it now.
Yeah, or maybe it
Like,
doesn't
'cause you-
quite keep time right.
Uh-huh.
It's a big problem.
Because it is right across the river from your gunpowder road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You accidentally shot something at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Is that what caused your parents maybe to like really like definitively disown you?
I think that makes sense because if they didn't disown me, they like it was too dangerous in society to like create the ire of that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Very nice. All right. So everyone's flipped over one of their location cards, and
Yeah, I
so
knocked the 12 off.
I feel like just to riff off of what you say, because I have to get out of my head. I'm sorry.
yeah.
The people having like their own little special word for that thing instead of the immortal clock, it's the immortal clock.
Yeah, right?
Well, that was a joke.
Sorry,
That's-
it
always
all
seemed
that was a joke
Yeah.
I was making about why to make the L very prominent.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
clock. Like that was the
Yeah.
joke we started with.
Yeah,
Nice.
sorry.
No, that's
We were
great.
just being more subtle with it.
Love it.
Nope, I'm not subtle. Sorry, I'll X myself on that one.
I was gonna go for the immoral clock.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what the upper crust calls it.
Yes.
Now
I
they
don't
do
think
because
it
of
in the
you.
sewers there, Melly.
Exactly.
See, there goes that
I am
one.
trying to
It's gone now.
elevate me above my station.
Yes. All right. So we've all done a location card. So again, at the end of the round, I flip over
Mortifying.
one of my cards as the GM. Our group supports a set establishment. Who are they, and why do we support them?
Ooh.
So this is an opportunity for us to collaboratively create like another power in the city.
Well, what about like the secret society you used to be part of? Is it part of like a greater ideal or something?
Yeah, maybe like we talked about how we're afraid of the influence that the elder has on the like government. Maybe the government. Maybe we actually do believe in like the actual ideals of our government, but like we're afraid of influences corrupting that ideal. And maybe the society weaver also supported like the established government and like.
Okay. So is there there's someone in the established government, maybe like there's a counterpart. We've got like the religious part of the part of the government or society. Then we've got like the more legislative, like actual government, like daily running of things.
Yeah.
And they maybe work hand in hand. Does
Yeah,
that
like a
sound
more
okay?
like a republic type element.
Yeah.
It's like there, like a parliament that we trust. And-
Yeah, and they're supposed to work together, but they do for appearances, but we know not to trust one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we like that?
I like that.
Okay.
And maybe the organization that we like used to be more firmly in power. kind of thing.
Yeah.
But since religion has sort of like taken over, they've been pushed into kind of like sideline roles.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Maybe we liked them because they were representative of the people, and now it feels like the people's voice is being drowned out by like what the church is saying is like their the order saying is their
Okay.
voice. Or
Okay, yeah, I like that. We call them the order.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that. That's
The Order of
nice.
the Immortal Clock.
The Order of the Immortal Clock. Very nice. It's great name. Good naming. All right. So what do they call the other half of this then? And who is the one person specifically that we I guess it doesn't have to. It's like a full set establishment, so we can just say like this establishment. But I feel like we should at least create like a contact person there.
I'm thinking about like in Les Mis, like General Lamarck was like the one person that the people could rally around, and then when he dies is when like Les Mis like pops off.
Mhm.
So maybe it's like somebody like that. Like maybe it's like
Yeah.
it's like the Chamberlain or something.
So an idea for the organization name. So I know we're not actually England and London,
Yeah.
but could we still like historically have had a King Arthur?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe
For Stephen King.
the Parliament like association is called like the Hands of Arthur.
Oh,
or
I like
something
that.
Perfect.
that.
I love it. And you get to
Or-
draw.
And your father's name is Arthur.
Well, it's my thought was that it's like a popular nobility
Yeah.
name, you know.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Or
in-
like
Sorry, Tyler. You will never escape Les Mis. You will always hear the people sing.
One day more. Okay.
Another Justin. Real quickly, at a panel
best
at
friend
Gallifrey One this weekend, a completely impromptu performance of Defying Gravity broke out on a panel, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen happen in any con ever. It was awesome.
I love those con moments.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
those are fantastic.
I'll just put in like the Parliament House of the Hands
Yeah,
of
wherever
Arthur.
you think it
Yeah.
should be.
Right.
So.
Like the table. of
and
Arthur.
and you gave it another name. Oh, the Hands of Arthur. So
Yeah.
label that on there.
Okay.
Can I pitch that we don't call it the hands only because we already have a clock and we have the hands?
Yes.
Like it's a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you love
yes,
it.
that makes
Well,
perfect sense.
um
Okay,
Or
the
could
Fist
be
of
like
Arthur's
the,
not better.
Well, I guess maybe if it's society, maybe the hands do work. Maybe the society in general does revere the idea of time and clock and
Mhm.
destiny, but like one
Oh.
corrupts it and one kind of like supports it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, because they used to kind of work together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The clock and the hand used to work together, and now the clock controls all.
So
Yeah.
so the Hands of Arthur, the Parliamentary Dome house is a like half dome
Nice.
that is on the riverfront.
Fantastic. Oh no. No, now I have that song in my head too.
yeah, I thought about I did think about faces, but then it's a little like the faces of Arthur.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's very Three Faces of Eve.
Mm,
Like
sure.
it's just one dude.
Yeah. All right. So
But
now
that could be another organization that like handles the diplomacy of the kingdom or something
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
that.
I feel like it's a title.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that instead of like Empress or whatever, you are the face of Arthur.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
All right,
That's
here.
so perfect.
Oh, I love that.
You add that on the map now.
I've been suckered.
It's-
I like that because we did vaguely like Arthur exists, and I was like, oh, it's kind of the thing in the Dark Tower,
Uh-huh.
and then Dark Tower also has you've forgotten the face of your father. So I think like Arthur's your father, face of your father, the face of Arthur. It's all coming
It's
together.
all rolling together.
What time is it? 19 o'clock.
Stop it with your rolling. Oh God, that's
So good. Okay, so now we've done one set of character connection cards. We've done one set of location cards. We have a very, very robust map. I'm very proud of us. Nice job.
I see what you're saying about like when you're playing the one shots, you get sad you're not going to run off and play the actual game. I want to play this game right now.
I know, it's so good. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and do the other character connection card for each of us. Did you have a question, Pooja? No? Oh, you're just drawing. Okay. Perfect. All right,
Do I have
then.
question face when I'm drawing? Is that what happens?
There's just a lot of thinking that goes into
There's
the
a
drawing
lot.
process.
There's a lot. Absolutely. Would anyone like to go first this time? Someone who has not gone first yet?
I'll do it this
Okay.
time. This is another
This
one
time.
of the character cards.
connection cards, yep.
Okay. Whom. You find yourself strangely drawn to blank. What captures your attention? I think it's got to be Gerald.
Okay.
I think he's just this like regular, like down in the dirt, like person who's never experienced the like high nobility life or anything like that, and maybe also somehow like you might have like worked in like some of the jobs I've done because I have lots of people doing stuff, and you're never fazed by all the stuff that like explodes.
no.
Like you're like, oh, life does this to me.
That's awesome.
Didn't Didn't blow my hand off this time. Good day.
Yeah. So I'm always going to him for advice on stuff.
Okay.
Every day that Gerald has two hands is a good day for Gerald.
And I've got one spare.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. Riley, why don't you go next this time?
Sure. All right, let's do... Okay. You find yourself frustrated with blank. Why? I think that I find myself frustrated with Millie because of the aforementioned Millie having this weird fascination with Ashla. So I think maybe Millie is constantly asking Ashla questions or like probing her for information and like kind of like curious about her, and like maybe Ashla is very like kind of like, I don't know what to say, I'm not that like that kind of thing. Like she doesn't find herself as fascinating as somebody else does, so she's like.
And I really like it too because you want to get out. Like you had mentioned, you want to get out of that life. You're like, man, if I had more freedom.
Yeah, so I don't want to like encourage somebody
along,
else to be like me.
Yeah, and like here comes along this person who's like totally idolizing everything that you are.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You want to be like me?
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Let's have Millie flip over the next card, Pooja.
Okay.
Or you flip over the next card for Millie.
You tried to impress Blank and failed. What did you do? And how did you fail?
Ooh.
I think I tried to impress Lord Byron by... I think that I wanted to be seen as more of like a mover and shaker, so I got together a bunch of people to help you with your experiment, but they were all like terribly unqualified. Like I picked up real random people. They may have been drunk, whatever.
Maybe
Most
that
of them
was
probably owed
those are
me
the people
some amount
who-
of money.
maybe that was part of the project that
Oh.
that led to me taking out a part of the clock.
Yeah. And led to the deaths that made me want you to stop doing your experiments.
Right, sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
that it was all this one lovely triumph
Yeah.
of failure.
Yeah.
So Griffin80 in the chat says, does this handle time well? Meaning, is the day 24 hours, 365 days, or can you use this to make new calendars? Again, it's really meant to kind of be flexible. So if you want your world to be, our basic 24-hour, 365 days, you can. If you are playing, like, I've set it up, I've used this for Vampire the Masquerade before and things like that. So it's like some of the events that were character connections were like centuries ago, and things like that. So it really just depends on what you and your players want to do. You want everything, hey, we're going to be, we're playing kids on bikes and we're all kids. So it's like the only real big events in our life have happened in like the last 3 years or whatever you want. Or like, hey, we just met, a month ago. Then like, so you can set that timetable for your play group as you play.
Sure. So one thing that's, I don't know if this is directly related to any of the questions, but kind of a vibe I'm getting just from how we're setting this up is I feel like our world is like right on the verge of steampunk. Like this isn't quite a steampunk world yet, but like the technology has been discovered and it's all about to like boom out.
We're about to get steam imported.
Right?
Once we find steam from a foreign country, we're really gonna make it work out.
Yeah, well, but because of the like crazy
Yeah, like it's like, okay, on one hand you have the new metal, and then on another hand you have like people like yourself who are doing these crazy gunpowder experiments. Like eventually you'll either blow yourself up and somebody else will take up the mantle, or you'll have an actual breakthrough.
Or maybe like the metal that we have, maybe like the kind of heat that's generated by the kind of energy things that would cause steam, like corrodes and help. But the metal you're bringing in is actually like able to be more durable for like industrial type things.
Are you saying you're gonna put me out of a job?
Never doubt.
We'll always
Do me
need
favor.
good men who can use machines, damn it.
Well, I'm good at cleaning machines. I don't know about you.
A clean machine is a machine that works well.
A good society takes care of people whether they have a job or not.
All right.
Loving
Very
this so
socialist of you.
Yes. As the hand of Arthur withholds to be.
awesome.
Doesn't really matter.
I mean, it does, but oh no.
You shared an epic failure with blank, but it brought you closer. Guess what? I guess I was on that crew that she put together.
And that's how Gerald lost his hand. But you made
made me a new one. It's very comfy, but it doesn't work. But I can still give you a thumbs up.
I like that.
Okay.
and
It's
here's
good
an
at
idea I have.
turning.
After the incident happened, you
The
showed up
incident.
to work the next day, and I was like, I did not think any of you would come back.
Both eyebrows gone.
Yeah.
Straight down the middle, still hair on the sides.
I love the idea that Gerald lost his hand, but then like went home from work and like had like a nice dinner and like and then like what time to go back to work? Next day like just clock back in,
Yeah.
back to the job.
The fire, like, what is that? Not
Cauterized
singed.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cauterized the wound. Perfectly fine, just scabbed.
It's like, didn't even need to go to the doctor.
You're like, oh, the great clockmaker gave me a second.
2 hands, just like a good clock.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Very good. All right. So everyone did their character connection card.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do my card. Okay. This is my favorite card. All right. We're not going to do it yet. I'm going to count to 3. We're all going to close our eyes. Every person everybody point to the character in the group they trust the least. So think about that for a moment. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. GMs, you can do this however you want, but this is how I do it because I'm mean. And so close your eyes, and then I'll count to 3, and then you'll point to the person in the group you trust the least. Ready? Close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, open your eyes.
Wow. Wow, none of us picked the same person.
That's amazing.
incredible.
All right, very good.
Well, 2 of us picked the same person.
Yeah,
but yeah.
two
Sure,
people,
yeah.
Person.
I mean, but everyone trusts Joe.
Everyone
Yeah.
trusts Gerald.
I thought you were pointing at me. Oh, you were pointing
No,
at
I was
me.
pointing
Yeah.
at.
Billy
let's-
was pointing
Let's
at
go
Byron.
around because with the
There's no
cameras,
one-
I'm not sure if everybody can tell. So why don't you go around and tell who you pointed to?
So I was pointing at Pooja because Millie brought me workers who blew stuff up, and I'm very forgiving because anyone who's willing to help me, I'm going to lean into. But just got to be careful.
I pointed at Byron because of the fact that last experiment he did cause a lot of deaths and destroyed the clock. So, and I've told him not to do it anymore, but I think he's going to keep doing it. And I don't trust he's not going to keep doing it.
Right. Nice.
And I pointed at Byron because I got him all of these people, and if he had just known how to use them, and now he keeps kind of hinting around that he blames me for the whole situation, but it's his technology.
Nice.
I've just been raised with servants all my life, so the default is oh well, it's not my fault.
Okay. Nice.
Up a crust and all that.
Send me more help. I don't know.
How am I gonna find more artisans?
Fantastic.
Ashla.
Lord
Ashla.
Yeah, lady.
Lady Ashla.
It's a small word for-
because
it means light side of the force.
Yes, right.
Just very secretive, don't know, plus attracted to her, so don't like that.
Okay.
Confusing
Fair.
feelings.
Very. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. No one had the birds and the bees talk. Poor
Gerald.
She makes me feel all wiggly, which means that she can't be trusted.
I like it. All right. All right. So last, not our last round, but last round of the individual cards. So it will be our last location card.
Okay.
So Riley, you haven't gone first.
not
yet.
gone first.
Okay. Why don't you go first this
All
time?
right, let's do it. Flip. Ooh, I have the upside down Knight of Swords. A leader in our location takes advantage of their position. Who is it, and what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like I've gone to the Brotherhood, the Elder of the Order of the Clock Face a couple times too many now. So I think that I will instead.
You can create someone, or you could also exit and get a new card if you'd rather.
Let's try the exit out. Just because
Okay.
I feel like we're going to the roll out with that, and I want to show.
I think we all kind of agree with that. It feels
Yeah.
like it's...
Yeah.
So
kinda dipped
and
into
then
that.
and then I will try this again. Okay, a group of people in our location purposefully damaged something. What was damaged and why? Oh, we don't know this in character.
Okay.
But the Eternal Order of the Face of the Clock, whatever, they actually sabotaged your experiment that caused damage. And they did it because they don't trust this new era of technology. They fear that it will actually weaken their hold over the city, so in the empire. So they actually made themselves the victim of your faulty technology, so they could say look how much it just destroys our religious heritage
By planting someone in the group of people that you recruited for
Yeah.
me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I love
That was a
that.
saboteur.
Yes, perfect.
Because this was the airship that was going to work.
Yes.
So what I'm gonna say is that
say
what
airship,
can
I
I
say
draw
rocket.
for that?
Yeah, right?
Nice. Well, you could add something. I was gonna say around the base of the. I don't know if we should add anything to the base of the
around
clock.
Nope.
after the clock.
Yeah. But you
It's
can
like a
also
forest.
like make
it's
a note
forest.
there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can draw to kind of get rid of some of the awfulness of what I did. But I think anything I tried to do is gonna make it
It's
worse.
gonna make it worse.
Two
Like, let's put a ring around it. No.
No.
All right.
Maybe they have the clock tower. Maybe they have another location
Yeah.
around there somewhere.
I'm gonna say that it's actually over. So the Manor of Arthur and Gwendolyn Tyne. I'm gonna say that. So where was your workshop was over here, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I was there. So I will say, and then we had the tables. So I'm actually gonna say that there's another rival gambling den that's a little more seedy, kind of like a cantina kind of thing, like a
Nice.
Hive of
like
Scum and
a
Villainy.
Hive of Scum and Villainy.
Yes.
I'm gonna say there's a place called the what's a good steampunky type. We'll say it's the Rusty Gear,
Nice.
and so I'm gonna try to draw my best attempt. I'm gonna use
It's also very cold there right now.
It's still very cold in a lot of places.
Yes. And T-Boy said, wait, I might have missed it. What are the rules for an exit out? So yeah, X card can be used for things that make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel not safe in the game, or for this game it's also mechanized. So if you get a card that you think is boring or you just don't like it, or like this one, we've really added a lot to this this religious aspect we've added already in this person who's in charge of it. So it's like, hey, we kind of already answered that question with other questions as we just kind of spun off and created things.
So I made the Rusty Gear, and the Rusty Gear is a low life type tavern,
Okay.
and it's a good place for someone who's looking to hire like a cutthroat or some sort of like less benevolent mercenary to do some bad stuff, and that's where they went to get that.
Fantastic, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go that direction now.
Okay.
Just to keep us on our toes.
Then I will flip my next location card. Boom. What is a positive turn of phrase that is used in our location?
Ooh.
Well, I'm thinking something timey because we seem to have a lot of clock stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, you could say it's like, oh, it seems like they've got their hands in the right place or something like that.
Okay.
like it.
Okay.
The hands in the right place, except for Gerald's, his hands in the it's up there.
I don't know
somewhere.
where the other hand.
I think it's up
Look,
there
Gerald, you've always
somewhere.
got your hands in the right place.
All right. So on our map, you could add that in
find
a
it
lot of different
someday.
ways. Sometimes people just add it like around the edge, so it's not really on the map. Some people add it as like graffiti somewhere, or maybe there's a sign that says that. Like propaganda signs or something like that you can add on there.
Punctual.
Right.
the
Face
highest-
we are.
It's
Face
the,
like a clock.
Yeah.
the highest term of honor is punctual.
I'm just going to
Oh,
write the
yeah.
phrase, our Bob's got his hands in the right place.
Yeah.
Never met a better boy.
Yeah. Excellent. I love that.
Yes.
Right on the hour. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of good ones, like punctual.
Yeah, right on the
time.
hour. Yeah.
Right on the hour.
Or, and it leads to wonderful, like, you get your hands in the right place.
Yeah.
Clock.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Lots of innuendo from the more seedier sides of town.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
us. Speaking of seedier sides of town. All the dirty jokes ever.
Can I ask why some of these cards have numbers and some of them have names?
Yes. So the like a poker deck, there's like the 3 of hearts and the 3. So
9 of Cups.
yes.
Got
So
it.
the 9 of cups has the actual number on it. Because sometimes it's hard to tell from the artwork. You don't want to actually sit there and count. Oh, there's 9 cups. You want to be able to see it. And then the ones that have names on them, flew away, are the major arcana. So, or they might be like the face card. So the king, the queen of the different suits. So there's a queen of cups, things like that.
So in this, do the face cards do they have bigger ramifications in the storytelling? Or-
Their question, they tend to have a little bit deeper meaning as far as the tarot meaning. So then their questions tend to be a little more complicated.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say they're better. They're just a little bit of a different flavor of question.
Okay.
So, and then the different suits have a little bit of a different flavor too. We use the cups and the sword, or I'm sorry, the coins and the swords are the location cards, and the wands and the I'm on camera. I can't think of the wands and the cups are the ones that create the character connections.
Oh, cool.
So that's how it's split.
I also wrote down right on the hour because I thought that one.
That one's a
sounded-
good one. I like that. Very
Go
good.
from the chat.
You really wanted to be up.
Oh, he's right on the hour, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Chad has so many good ones.
Yeah, I like all of those.
Yeah, I
Yes.
feel like as we played this campaign, we'd get so many like terms like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I love that, especially with our going to be like varying degrees of good British accents. It's,
Yeah.
like, fantastic.
That will
Very
probably
good.
shift in individual people as
Yeah.
they talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, man, might eventually go Irish or Russian. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
eventually, like one of those two.
I go New Zealand eventually.
Yeah.
Or like Australian, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Try to Cockney, end up with Taika Waititi.
See, Dom, not everyone's bad at accents, not just Ben. It's been a running gag for our
Oh, yeah.
entire
Aw.
friendship.
Aw. All right.
Because it's true.
Speaking of which, why don't you flip over?
All right. Ooh. Our location was generous with someone, but they took advantage of us. What happened?
So this one specifies like our location. So our whole city was generous with someone, and it can be an entity, it could be a person, it could be another city, like it could be lots of different things.
So you have this other country that is developing their Damascus steel or whatever it is, but on the other side, I don't know. Is this an island? Is it a?
I don't know. What do you want it to be?
It definitely has a coastal element.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. But I feel like there's like the mountainous area towards.
Yeah.
We'll just say towards the north because that's
We
where
could
the
have-
mountains are.
Kind of a Scotland
Lots
sort
of
of
planets,
Right.
northern.
Lots of planets have a
E-
north. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the northern territory where we get our coal
Okay.
to make steam.
The steam importers can't be trusted.
We have the water. We just don't.
We got the punks already.
Yeah.
Over there, the rusty gear. All
But
those punks.
they've been shipping us bad coal,
Oh, okay.
Inferior
Fools-
product.
They've been
not
sending-
not clean coal.
They've been sending us fool's coal.
coal.
It's actually gold.
useless gold.
It melts so easily.
Yeah.
And because they've been sending us this coal, like there is like a smog that like is
Yeah.
over the top of the city.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, we can act. I mean, we're creating this world, so we can have multiple types of coal, and they are like implanting the ones that's like the worst,
Uh-huh.
and
The
kind
ones
of like
that are
seeding
filled
it.
with peat.
Yeah.
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 Perfect.
Dirty
Everything
coal.
smells now.
Now, if it's something that may not be in our map, you could like put a sign like
Yeah.
1,000 miles to Tahiti or whatever. Except like this will be like to the mountains or something like that.
What's this place called?
That's a good question. This is my favorite thing about this game is that I don't have to come up with names.
And then if everything's a bad idea, then Jake can be like, "You guys made
You
it."
came up with this.
Ugh.
I'm just gonna call it Sandusky.
All right.
Does anyone
I love
have
it.
any
I'm into it.
issues with
that's
Sandusky?
No.
Was
Go for
anyone
it.
raised in Sandusky? Okay, Sandusky.
I went to Cedar Point when I was
Oh,
a kid.
except, Chat says the Breckenridge Mountains.
Oh.
Sandusky in the Breckenridge.
Yeah, the
There we
Breckenridge,
go,
the Breckenridge
yeah.
Mountains is the border between Sandusky and
There we go.
Arthur's Clocktown.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Hey, you're
Fantastic.
welcome, Ohio.
I'm from Ohio. I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
I used to summer at Cedar Point, Sandusky.
Very nice. All right.
Which event or holiday is celebrated more than any other in our location?
Ooh.
We have instead of like an every 4-year leap year, our leap year is every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so on our every 2 years, there is an extra day of celebration.
Okay.
What if it's the day they have to wind the clock because like it takes so much longer to wind it that it gives them one
Winding
day in the
day.
year.
Yeah.
So it's winding day.
Okay.
It's winding day. I love
And maybe it has kind of a carnival sort of feel where it's like it's not a real day, so like this is
Do whatever you want.
where you
Yeah.
do
It's like
Yeah.
the purge.
It's the purge.
Except for festival.
I say, oh law's not in effect today. I say.
But like this is a day where you go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
It's
maybe
the
not.
happy purge.
Yeah.
Not the...
Oh, we haven't named
Right.
it town/city.
Oh, yeah, we haven't named it yet. No, that's part of our process.
Oh.
Yeah, we started with being Londonish, Londonesque. So yeah, we will have to come up with a name of it.
The purge as a bank holiday. Victorian Mardi Gras.
Nice.
It's. Okay, so I'm gonna make little. Speaking of Mardi Gras, I'm just gonna draw some floats
Okay.
Yeah.
because this is what I know of holidays.
Yeah.
There's always a damn parade.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're filling in the third section of the
town.
city
We haven't
too.
touched it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Because no one wanted to
crotch
go
of the
next
city.
to the,
Yeah.
No one next to be in shooting distance of the immortal clock.
I knew I should have drawn a clock face and not try to draw a
No,
tower.
it's fine.
I think maybe like something about like the town's name should be something with like chronological or like the
Cronus?
Cronus.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Mm.
Or like Chronoville. Yeah, Cronus is good.
I like it. Fantastic. All right, while she's drawing that, we've done our round of cards. Everyone's gone, so I will do my card. Ooh, the Empress. There is someone that everyone in our group cares about. Who is that person? So it's someone outside of our group that every one of us cares about.
So we've hinted at like a king or queen character in some situation.
Separate
Arthur.
from the face of Arthur or the face of
So
Arthur?
I'd assume that the face of Arthur was more like a
PM.
prime minister kind
Okay.
of situation,
Perfect.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a king or queen who's more of like a ceremonial, title, but is still like God save the queen
Okay.
sort of thing.
I like
Yeah.
that. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like part of our like national heritage is like this legendary this family that's come down and yeah.
Yeah. And they're considered to be direct descendants of Arthur.
Yeah.
And is I don't want to just like push this on everybody if
Say it and then we'll riff on it.
okay, thinking maybe like currently it could be so like the previous king died somewhat recently. And the current queen is like a teenage girl.
Okay.
And the political situation could be sort of iffy because all these other people in power are like, okay, well, if she's a new ruler and stuff, maybe this is like time to move in. And we could all kind of be, we want to keep the young queen in power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be like young
Like that.
queen someone. name it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Gwen.
Yeah.
What,
Wait.
I think that was your mom's
My
name.
mom's
your
name
mom
Gwen.
name-
Gwen. Yeah. Arthur and Gwen.
You really think of Gwendolyn and Arthur, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saying,
Let's
That's a good
see.
so
Veer.
Okay.
Because Guinevere, so
There you go.
Yeah.
Veer.
Guinevere.
Vera?
And let's
Yeah.
Vera. There we
There
go.
we
And why don't you draw the castle where
Okay.
or whatever she lives in? You get to decide that.
All right. I think it makes sense to put that over. Actually. So if we put it kind of on the third side of the river there, then it's like the government, the like parliament, the like church,
Mhm.
and then
Like
Yeah.
historical. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
That's
go,
fantastic.
perfect.
I love that.
Mhm.
And those are like
The
the three.
trifecta.
Yeah.
And then
And
you have the
This must be
slums
in
on
purple.
the.
yeah. Do
Yeah.
you want we've come up with like individual titles for other things. So do we want a title other than queen?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. But what title?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we're kind of going with the Arthur vibe. So like I don't know, something about Avalon, like
Oh yeah.
something like I don't know, something like that.
Mm. Well, she could be named
Voice of Avalon?
like Vera Avalon. Like Avalon could be like the family, like the way like
okay.
Windsor is like the House of Avalon.
Yeah.
So Vera of Avalon.
Yeah, Vera of Avalon.
Perfect. So it's
Sure.
just of Avalon.
And
is
of
fine.
Avalon is just sort of like how we refer to
Yeah.
it.
The family.
Yeah.
The family of Avalon.
Ooh, I like High Matron.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah. Well, regents are like the people who are looking out for the monarchy until the queen comes of age.
Yeah.
So like that might be like part of it. Like maybe like everyone's kind of vying for the role of being the regent, and then that's maybe like why the clock, like the Brotherhood of the Immortal Clock, are trying to like weaken. Like maybe your father is connected to the regent somehow. It's like
Sure.
like discrediting you also helps to discredit him in like the parliament, and that's part of why
Sure.
it helps them move
He
in.
could be one of the 12 families. Or-
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Love it. That's awesome. 12 families. Thank you.
Can
for
we
that,
just
yeah.
play this game?
I know, right? And I also, I don't know if we went an hour and a half, but I almost want to play it again entirely with like a totally different type of game now.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just like a really like hard sci-fi game or something.
Right.
I don't know, or like
We can
space
totally
opera.
do that, yeah. Usually, especially the second time, it goes a lot faster because
Yeah.
I'm not explaining things every time, so we can totally do that.
So, what were we calling this? What did we settle on calling her?
Just of Avalon, so that
Okay,
like,
Vera
their
of
name
Avalon.
of Avalon is kind of their
Yeah.
honorary, and that's how they titled them.
Yeah.
Can we just use Decuma for all the games now? I'm not against this idea.
We call them the Grail, like the Grail of Avalon. Like it's like
Oh.
that's the Arthur element to it. So
I like that. Yeah, the Grail.
oh yeah.
like the cup instead of being the crown. The
Yeah,
Grail.
the Grail. Oh, I love that. That's
It's
good.
like as Vera of Avalon takes the Grail
Yeah.
in her coming of age ceremony.
yeah.
When
So,
she's coronated.
My
yeah.
palace picture is real bad. It didn't work out. But I also made it kind of a semicircular thing, so
Perfect.
like the idea is that it symbolically connects with is connected to the hands.
Oh,
of
I
Arthur.
like that.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's really cool.
So I'll put this up here. Hopefully you can see how it's like half circle and half circle on both sides of the river like that.
Yeah, that's really
It's
cool.
very good.
Definitely don't
Right.
look like balls before
Okay.
that. Mine.
That's better. Does that help? Oh, good. Okay, look at that. Fancy. Okay. Awesome. All right, so now we've flipped over all our individual cards. So all we have is we each have a world dynamics card left. So these, again, I'm going to remind us, are like collaborative cards. We all throw it out, and we all have to agree and be okay with that answer.
Okay.
So I, once again, will go last. We've all had a chance to go first, I believe?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Such a teacher. Okay, would anyone like to go first for this round?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh my god, I volunteered for something I don't understand who I am. We were involved in a mystery. What happened and how was it resolved?
Okay.
I think that there was, I think that the former Vera's predecessor that was murdered.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of thing that was kind of covered up because they're like, no one can murder,
Right.
Yeah.
The
Grail.
voice
Grail.
of Avalon. The voice of Avalon needs to
Yeah.
Yeah.
continue
They-
uninterrupted.
They had to be like, oh no, the former Grail was found ill, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. And what is the second part of the question?
It says, "What happened? How is it was resolved?"
Okay.
And I think that it turns out that they were being poisoned.
Ooh, that's good thematically because if it is the Grail, like
Yeah.
the really.
in pitch, not to impose on your character, but if you were part of the Weaver Society, maybe they were like, it's important that we turn a blind eye to this.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking earlier when I was thinking of my character, I was like, I think that she was frustrated because she wanted to get involved in something, and they like refused to let her get involved, and I think that's why she left. Like, I don't think it's right to sit back and not let things happen.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Fantastic. All right. Go ahead.
If someone was going to describe our group, what would they say our biggest challenge or flaw?
Sorry, what was it again?
If someone was going to describe our group, what would they say is our biggest challenge or flaw?
So if the Lord's parents were going to describe us, because I feel like
Yeah.
they would
Well,
have
I
a
think
laundry list
that's
of
the
those.
biggest thing is that we're all a disparate society types that communication is sometimes difficult. Yeah, I feel like the Lord sometimes has difficulty communicating with the help, or you know, we have the secret assassin who has to work with a Lord. The gambling, well, you probably work best with everybody, but
I mean, kind of like I know how to get by, but like actually forming connections and sometimes like just being who I am is really difficult in front of people. So I think there's a lot of like crosshairs that could be happening.
Yeah, I feel like we don't go to parties together.
I think it kind of makes sense because you're sort of like the most street level, work-a-day, you know, sort of person, and you're a little higher than that. You've like worked in organizations.
I mean, we've definitely got an upstairs, downstairs.
Correct.
Split
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And then I kind of get the impression that you're more of like a commoner who has, or no, not a commoner, a like level of royalty where you've like had to work because you've been in this organization and you've trained for that.
Yeah.
So you kind of have more of a like between the two areas kind of thing.
Maybe it's like no one's 100% sure if Lady Ashla actually has the title of lady, or if she just calls herself like if she's been conferred that title by it. Like and like maybe like she's been referred to it so long, no one really knows for sure, and no one has the like the guts to ask. It's all like I guess so, maybe.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So a bit of a motley crew, like doesn't seem like you're super functional, but somehow you get everything done.
Right.
Okay.
But we're not functional all that well.
No. But from the outside, that's what people would say.
Right. Yeah. Also, I just want to bring up, because we're selling this game, let's talk about it. Like, the fact that this is the strength card, and because it was inverted, it wasn't talking about strength, it was talking about weakness. Like, that's super cool.
I've had a few upside down ones. I've noticed that a little bit, which is really interesting.
Yeah, the one where you all pointed at the person you trust the least. Like if it had been right side up, it would have been the person you trust the most. There's one of my other favorite cards is, well, I won't say it just in case we get it, but I guess I can say it because it won't ruin it. But it says on one way it's like our group talked our way out of a hard situation. The other way is our group fought their way out of a good situation.
Nice.
So
that's
like this is what flips. Yeah.
That's a really good get, Ben. I mean, I know you made it, but I'm saying like that's a
thank you for noticing.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's one of the cool things about like basing it on tarot. It helped me come up with, because there's 78 cards and each has 2 questions, so it was able, it helped me really make that many questions that are very different from each other. So like the meaning of the cards was a great guide for me. So, all right, go ahead and flip yours over.
All right. Womp. This is, our group is owed a large debt. What are we owed and by whom?
So this can be monetary, it could be like favors, it could be anything you need.
Maybe we could tie this in to the former Grail's death, because
if we took care of the assassin or whoever was behind the assassination, but kept it quiet because that is what the order wanted, then they would owe us for both taking care of it and keeping it quiet.
What if like each of us has like a pendant sort of thing, which is like one major favor, like from from the House of Arthur, from the House of Avalon.
It's actually a pendulum. It's a pendulum. Yeah.
I like that. Are we all good with that?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay,
I instantly
like
turned it in thinking that I could get a new hand. But
Aww.
and then they politely give it back to you and like, no, we'll
that's
let you
not
hold
how
on to
this works.
But good man, we'll let you hold on to it for a little while longer.
And then I built you a hand, and it's not a super well made hand, but
just goes,
like,
Hold on.
yeah.
And every once in a while, one of them gets stuck, and you just make a rude gesture.
I love that you have a hand that you have to use your other hand to grip with. Like that's actually really funny.
Hold on, I'll get it.
Nice.
Very silly.
Yeah. Nice. I love that.
All right.
All right,
Last
Ren.
one. All right, here we go. Our group was given information that we ignored. What did we learn, and what happened? Ooh, and this is the negative side of the card. And it's because if it had been the positive side, it might have made sense to play into our game of we stop the assassin. But this is maybe like what we ignored. Maybe we actually knew that there was going to be an assassin. We like heard there was going to be an assassination attempt, but we just assumed like, well, surely like the guards will take like that. We haven't gotten so far in our city that like someone can just take out the Grail of Avalon. And then when it did happen, we actually like felt so guilty. That's why we took it upon ourselves to like solve the crime and find the assassin, because we ignored it. Maybe I ignored it because at the time I was still a member of the Society of the Weaver, and I thought like I was actually forbidden to get involved. We all had a reason not to do it, and then when it didn't happen, we all felt so guilty about it. That's kind of how we became part of our group.
Yes. So an idea that kind of brings to my mind too is that maybe, besides, it seems like we've all sort of run into each other just through various stuff. Maybe we also have some sort of, like, I know you were part of the Weaver Society, but maybe each of us is like a descendant of a Knights Templar type
That makes sense.
thing. And we've all, gone to different levels of society, but still nominally we're supposed to be a group that always makes sure that the Grail is passed on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know this?
I think we know. But maybe it's something that we haven't taken seriously.
I think if this is the, like, rather than us already having known and, like, this was the event where, like, okay, well, this assassination is coming up, like, you kind of hear about it, whatever, and it turns out in the course of this event and this investigation, we find out that these are the jobs you're supposed to have.
Yeah, love it.
Like,
Nice.
no one told you before, oops, our bad. But, like...
Now that you're here, can you go ahead and do those? Yeah, great.
But because we all had, like, some family heirloom that was passed down to each of us.
Yeah, there we
We
go.
each had an hourglass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd said something about the 12 families.
Mhm.
Maybe there were like 12 original like of this Arthur's Round Table, and now there's 12 families who all claim they are descended from those knights.
But some of them kind of, like, maybe a cousin usurped the position and was like, well, we have
over
a
the
stronger
centuries.
claim. And the hourglass of the family passed down in a different direction.
Nice, the hourglass of the family. I love that. But you are actually descended from those 12, and your family's like managed to keep it like direct line, and some of you have been lost and things like that.
Yeah, the round table that had 12 seats.
Exactly.
Oh, and that's why my parents were killed.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
And like, and Lady
that's
Ashla
great.
is an actual like aristocrat, but
Yeah.
like she's so mired in her own like enigma, people don't know for sure that she is or isn't. But
Yeah.
And, like,
Totally.
Millie's family was totally, like, several generations back. Like, got completely ousted from the family line.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that manner.
Yeah.
Her
It was like a coup of some
great-great-grandmother got disowned.
Oh, yeah.
And
Awesome.
maybe sort of like sent her daughter like leaving and be like, you need to get out before they kill you. Here, take this.
like
This
an
is
Anastasia type thing.
This is what really means you're part of our
Someone
family.
write this now. I know that I saw that like Twitch had said this needs to be a movie, it needs to be a comic book, it needs to be a book. Like, holy crap, man!
So
like,
good.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So our very last card of this game. Oh, I feel like we've already answered this, but
Oh, we
our
raided
group,
again.
Yeah. Oh, yay, raid! Love
Hey,
it.
welcome everybody.
And good
Shields
time.
up.
Maybe we'll play another game. We'll
Yeah.
have to go through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our group broke something important. What was it, and why? How did we break it? I feel like we've answered that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gerald's hand.
Yeah.
That's what we broke.
Oh, here's
no,
we did get it. Our group fought our way out of a serious situation. What was it, and what happened? So maybe this is like the first time you guys actually like fought with each other,
Yeah.
like with each other,
Yeah,
not
like
with
on
each
the-
other. Yeah.
I think we like kind of like all converged upon where the like we found the assassin, and then like when we stopped the assassin, that's when like we had to fight our way out from this group that was like conspiring to make it happen.
Yeah. So there was like a I like to think of it as like on the corner of Gunpowder Row and the Rusty Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a series of alleyways that
Yeah.
we like tracked this person back to.
Okay.
And this is like, that area is like Old Kronos or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever we call the city. That's like the area that has been established and around the longest and is a little seedy now.
Okay.
And it's very like Warren-y.
The,
Uh-huh.
the dusty digits.
And so
Nice.
we came like track them back there, and then it was a big like hooded figures coming out of the
Yeah.
doorways
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like we were all kind of working on our own, and we like all realized we were all on the same like with because like that kind of thing. We all like, found each other. I'm like, what you're doing? Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So have we named our city Kronos then? Is that...
I don't... Did we lock in
another
on
name?
something?
I mean, it's better than Timeberg.
Timeberg.
Here in
Yeah.
Timeberg.
Oh no, that's in my head now
I don't remember if we had settled on a different name.
Yeah, I'm on the
Cronus.
Kronos. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, will you add that to our map?
It can be kind of like Rome, where it's like
Yeah.
the country is the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
Kronosburg
Yeah.
in the country of
Cronenberg.
Kronos.
Cronenberg.
It's just a bunch of gross.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, that is Deckma.
Hey, that was really fun. And I agree. I'm sad that we're not like now going to start playing this
Right.
game.
Yeah. I know.
Tune in
Very
next Monday
common.
for Kronos.
Yeah,
See-
for figuring out something.
I love just like riffing on like setting ideas.
Me
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like whenever I play, and most of you play with me. Like my favorite thing to do is this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It is the but usually it's like, okay, GM, you stand aside for a second.
Yeah.
Let's fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, or for me, it's like, hey, GM, here's a bunch of DMs you're gonna get of me writing this elaborate backstory
Right.
for my character. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to Ruben Wrestler for the backstory of Velma Sweets.
I think one of the coolest things about it too is that just like it's an auto invest. You know, it's not like, okay, I'm the GM and I put all this time into this world,
Yeah.
and then you guys are like get to put in it, and then you have, even if you have players who like very much want to like get involved in things, you still are like sort of have a bit of an effort and a bit of a pitch to get everyone invested.
Right.
But like we could jump into this game and all of us be like excited about
Yeah.
interacting with.
Yeah.
I think it's a good party building technique too, because we mutually agreed to like why we're here, what we're doing, and what's happening. Now when we started playing this game, we have this pre-built party
Yeah.
that we all like committed to. Like, it's a similar
Yeah.
auto invest, but instead of investing in the world, investing into this group's dynamic.
Yeah.
Well-
Especially when you're playing with people you've never played with before. Like,
Yeah.
it's really good icebreaker because you get to see everyone's different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like how your character grows as part of playing through. It's like, oh, I didn't think about maybe, this is how we interact with the world a little bit more. This is how, like, it's not just positive relationships that you have with the characters,
Sure.
but like negative ones too, or like how you've overcome past obstacles together. I love that kind of world building, and it's nice to have it laid out to begin with because you're like, you're starting on chapter 15 instead of,
Totally.
Yeah.
and then they all walked into an end.
Yeah.
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 And
They're
it's-
all in a tavern.
Yeah.
We've already got built-in like conflicts and opinions on each other. So if we're having a first conversation and we're like, oh, what do I say to this person? You're like, just say one of the things that my like character has interacted with them about. Talk about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've started a couple campaigns with this now. One of them was a Wild West campaign, and it was like the very alpha, like pre-alpha. If there's a letter before A in the alphabet, it was like the very first version of it. And the first thing I noticed is we got to session 1, and we're in this Wild West town that we built. I didn't have to explain anything.
Yeah.
Like they walked in, their characters had been living there for years. So like inevitably it would have been like that. Yeah, I go to the saloon where I spend time every day. What's the name of it, GM?
Yeah.
But instead it was like, I go to I forget what it was called, like Squeaky Wheel or whatever it was. And like they knew everything about it already. So as a GM, it saved me so much time because I didn't spend like the first 3 sessions explaining things. And also it's as a GM, if I have a specific thing I want in there, I can still add things. So it's not like, I love world creation as a GM. That's why I made a world creation game. But it's not like you're handing over all your power because you can definitely add things and add NPCs and add whatever you want too. So
Yeah. And like you said, if you as a GM really have your system set, you can just take out the location cards
Exactly.
and just give them character dynamics and things like that to play with.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so do we want to try again?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, let's take a look at our map real quick so those of you at home can see kind of what we've drawn. And if you wanted to, what I've done before is I've made it like, let's get it a little forward more. My arms aren't quite that long. What I've done before is like taken it home and like had someone who can draw a nice version of it. I've had people translate it to battle maps too. So if you are playing D&D or something and you want something that's measured out and hexed out, you can do that. Or you can just do it like this. And this way we have like reference points. So when we talk, like I've run the classic storytellers, I was running a Wild Talents game set in a high school with superpowers. And about halfway through the first session, I realized, oh, everyone's picturing their high school. And like everyone was describing things and it was like, no, I go to the football field. I said, it's right next to the computer lab. And everyone's like, oh. So this way we all have like similar reference points and we're like, oh, yeah, we know exactly where the immortal clock is and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's very cool. All right.
Well, one thing I just want
to.
to... I know we've talked a ton about the like flipped good, bad kind of thing, but I think it's interesting on the debt card that we got, where we did get a debt and it was good. It was the flipped version of the card because it's the devil card, and the other side is that we owe a ton of debt. So I think it's kind of neat that it's not always necessarily like flipped is negative or something.
Yeah.
And that's a tarot thing. That,
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah.
reverse doesn't mean necessarily bad or evil,
Yeah.
but it's just like an opposing
Right.
or opposite meaning to
Sure.
what it would be.
Yeah.
But so it's great that the questions reflect that as well.
Cool. Why don't you hand me your cards and I'll keep them separate so that way we don't get any repeats in our second go around.
Okay.
And I feel like this time we should like have chat answer as much stuff as we can too.
Yeah.
Have
Oh, I
them
love
help us with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chat, what would you like to see as us see us create with this next round?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab a drink while we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
And yeah, if you just tune in with Rating, we are playing a game called Deckma, which is the R&D for your RPG. So it's a game you play like as the session 0. Someone said a minute ago, session 0 in a box. That's exactly what it is. It comes in a little card box. You don't need a book to translate anything. It's all right on the cards, and it creates character connections, a location, and also world dynamics of your party. So all in 40 to 90 minutes. We took a little longer, but that's okay.
It's also explaining it too. Like I'm sure an
Exactly.
actual sitting down, we go through a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly. So, and answering your questions, which has been fantastic. So if you do have questions, type them out. We're happy to answer. Why not the 80s hacker setup? That would be cool. And someone's on a medieval kick. That's exciting.
I'm more excited for the 80s hacker idea or sci-fi only because we just did kind of a fantasy steampunky thing.
Yeah.
Personally, but whatever people are more interested in. We do.
I did, let's see, here's one. I took this to a convention this weekend. So here's one we did. This is me drawing, and it becomes dirty no matter what I do. So this was actually like a big generation ship we did.
Oh, I love
in
Generation
space.
Ships.
So it was very cool. Here,
Ooh.
So lots of different things there.
It all looks like a big bomb.
Yes.
Which I like.
Well, they said it looked like
You
a
say-
butt plug.
I was about to say,
Oh.
you say Bob. Whatever.
So you can do like literally anything with it. Done a couple Wild West towns. We did a like werewolf Wild West town.
Oh, nice.
So like kind of a supernatural vibe there, which was lots of fun.
Big Deadlands fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I'm so shocked
Yeah,
hearing that
surprise,
on this
right?
channel. Amazing.
Yeah, considering that's like your famous RPG.
Yeah, right there, right up there.
That's hard.
Fantastic. A Toon retirement home.
Oh my
I like
gosh.
No, oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Apocalyptic
that's pretty neat.
dystopia, Mad Max-esque.
Ooh.
A first human settlement on Mars or another planet.
Boy, I like all of these.
Yeah.
Oh,
Steampunk Sky Pirates. More steampunk.
Yeah, I love steampunk, but Steamplat, I think that we should do something a little different.
Yeah, I like to see what happens with a tome that's a little bit more like a hard genre tone as opposed to like a whimsical.
Cool. Why don't we like combine a couple of these ideas? I love the idea of like a colony on another planet, but let's like 80s flavor it.
Yeah.
So like if in the 80s they had managed to like make a colony on Mars, so we're like the first colony on Mars.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let me draw just our kind of starter thing. Let me hand out our cards too. So for those of you who missed it earlier, we give out 2 character connection cards to each person. They don't flip them over yet. And here you go.
Uh-huh.
And these should be all different questions than we had before because we set all the cards we've already used aside.
Sorry, Moon Mall.
Yeah.
Moon Mall.
Oh, yeah, that's going to have to be a thing.
Yeah. I think I may have lost my battle with the idea of let's do more of a hard-edged sci-fi.
Well,
kind of
I
thing.
don't
Yeah.
know. I could see this being kind of a like a Blade Runner sort of feel.
Okay.
to the thing we
Yeah, I
have
like
on
that.
Mars.
I
think
like
that's a good idea.
that.
Totally, let's do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So this...
And even like Total Recall really like
Yeah.
has like it's a city, but it's not like.
And it could be the sort of thing where like, yeah, we are an established Mars colony, but like it's been a difficult thing to do, so maybe society is
Yeah.
not as like is we've got issues to deal with.
Yeah,
basically.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So our location is going to be a colony on Mars, the first one.
Mhm.
Our setting is going to be like Blade Runner-esque, like 80s, like inspired futuristic.
Yeah.
And our tone, like we want to go for like more serious, kind of gritty. Okay, that doesn't mean we can't crack jokes because we're world building right now.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not in the game yet.
Out of characters are fun.
Yeah. So, but just kind of as we're creating things, let's make sure we are creating things that match that tone. And here we have our brand new blank map. I'm going to start. I'm gonna draw. Well, I don't know if I can draw a circle. That's supposed to be like the test of all good artists. So I'm gonna fail that miserably. But it's gonna, for me, it's gonna be like a dome.
Yeah, like one mega dome that
Yeah.
our entire city
Okay,
is under.
This is because I couldn't draw the circle right. This is not a thing. Just ignore this little line here. I'm gonna put a little X to it. This is not here. So then
It's the
outside
power
the
generator
dome,
for the
yeah,
city.
yeah, there we go. So then outside the dome, we have like the Mars lunar or landscape. It's a Marsscape, whatever.
Maybe
It's got it.
no,
Marscape.
maybe there could even be like smaller, considered more like rural colonies that are outside of it and
Yeah.
more like
Absolutely.
haphazard domes.
Yep. So I love this because all I have to do is that. Ta-da! So
Now
that
this
is
Futurama.
my contribution to our map, which is a circle. So that is
Then
the
we
edge of the major dome.
Then we just turn this into a clock.
We did. Oh man.
Well, it's at least less phallic than the clock I drew in the last game.
True. Give it time. Give it time. Nice. And okay, so let's come up with our characters then. So let's think about it. Does anybody have an idea for what they want their character to be? I know we've had less time to think about this.
I think my character is. I like the idea of this colony not being like super big yet, so like it's kind of has a small town 80s vibe to it, and I think that maybe I'm like the sheriff, like I'm the town, or I can be a deputy if we don't want to make me that barbaric. But I like the idea of like being like a sheriff, like an elected sheriff who's.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're
you can't be the deputy because I'm the deputy.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just sort of a thought here. I don't know if you guys have read any of the Discworld books or anything like that. But so like the main characters, some of those are like the head of the Night's Watch, and they're like an important law keeper, but they're not like the top.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are trying to do the right thing, while the people who are technically in charge are a little more corrupt. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Why don't I give you a second? I'm gonna
Yeah.
do my little info like blurb on Deckma while you're all thinking, because I think you need like another minute. I'm seeing like the puzzled, still thinking faces on people. So think about your character, come up with a name, because that's the hardest thing always for me. So we're playing Deckma right now. This game is kickstarting. We're very excited. We hit today on our 15th of 30 days. We hit 300% funded, so we hit 30K today, which is very, very exciting and not something I ever thought would happen. So you can check out at goldenlassogames.com/Kickstarter. It's also linked in the chat. Thank you so much. You can go see the actual finished art, the finalized cards, get more information. There's also links to a bunch of different APs on podcasts and streams and stuff like that. This one will be linked there very soon. So you can see like more about it, more in action, see the finalized art, see the team that's working with me on it. And yeah, is that enough think time?
Yeah.
Go stalling.
I'm saying her name is Sheriff Cora.
Sheriff Cora, like
Because I saw a corset across the room.
Yeah.
And it Cora. Cora Zook. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, just Sheriff Cora.
Deputy
Cora.
plastic.
And you said she, so she, her?
Yeah, she's her. She's the sheriff. I was just kind of. I wanted to go something very different than last time, so I
Yeah.
think she's kind of like Cora, Tyler. I think that she's kind of like got that little bit of like. I'm thinking of like characters like in Lost Boys that like the grandpa who just like has the shotgun and just like that.
Nice.
Like I think she's kind of just like. You know, like there's lots of people that are like scientists that are running the more important like day-to-day things about the dome and keeping us alive, but I'm here to keep us safe. That's my job.
Got it.
So
Nice.
she's almost like a head of security that now has kind of become the sheriff because it's got more of a town vibe instead of a warehouse vibe or
Right.
a facility vibe now.
Okay, cool. So I'm picturing the dome probably has like 1,500 people in it, or is that a little too big?
I could see that.
I think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So there's like 1,500.
I was in a room with about that many people this weekend. I can see that being a town the size of that.
Yeah.
I have no concept of numbers that
You
like
have a panel that had
that
1,500.
would
The,
actually
the main stage of Gallifrey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I interviewed Pearl
That's
Mackie on
big.
the main stage this year, and it was like
That's
this kind of thing. Yeah.
wow.
But also, I was in the. We also watched the new episode of the show that aired Sunday in that room, so that's also
Oh,
and
cool.
also Christopher Eccleston. But yeah.
Hey.
All right.
That guy.
Yeah.
Nice. So who else has ideas?
I actually know mine once.
Oh, good job.
I am Aditi, and I am a doctor who is a little bit older and like struggling to adapt Earth techniques to the Mars colony.
Oh.
Like the new materials and technologies that we've had to adapt to survive here.
Mhm.
I like that.
The difference
Damn
in
it, we were never
gravity.
trained for this.
Yeah. Nice. And how do you spell your name?
Aditi.
Yeah, like little things like even just like gravity probably like messes things up a little bit. Like the
Mhm.
weight of instruments
And stuff that like we never thought would be a problem long term because nobody could have seen it coming.
Sure.
Mhm.
Recycled water.
The Martian flu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. And she, her?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
So, okay. My character's name is Tacitus Flynn, and he goes by Tack.
Oh, I like that.
And he is sort of the equivalent of like a street racer
Okay.
in the area. And it's not very big, but they have like a circuit of people who will like take the cars that they have in this place and race outside of the dome, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
extremely dangerous
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So he's a bit of like a ruffian street racer type.
Mhm.
Think the guy from Drive is
Okay.
pretty directly the influence there.
Mhm.
You know, Jordan, I've played with you a few times, and you constantly make your characters Ryan Gosling. Is this something we need to talk about?
Look, I want to be Ryan Gosling.
I remember when Astrock came in with a real girl in the Broken Pact. Oh, I guess your certificate is your version of Lars' real girl.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like in the dome, especially, people would have to have like also like productive jobs.
Yeah.
So like, what's Tack's like day job that like probably involves driving something?
I was thinking, yeah, I think that could make sense. I could be, how about I'm a worker in a, like, a space slaughterhouse type thing?
Okay.
You know, and I drive now I'm thinking like the Irishman, but like I drive a meat truck and like work
Okay.
in there.
Nice. Okay.
Where are we getting meat from?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah, we're gonna have to answer that.
I don't ask those questions. I just keep it along. I just keep,
Like
keep-
bio
just
farms
keep
or
us
whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Spike.
Mhm.
Just Spike. Spike is the deputy.
Yeah.
Um,
He has one hand.
Spike has one hand. No. Spike's a little bit more competent, but Spike is also the son of the corporate leader.
Also, like nepotism.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Like I could have been whatever I wanted to be, but I chose to be a deputy.
I want to believe that like
I
Spike is a
wanted a
nickname
gun.
you gave yourself.
Yeah. No, Phineas.
Yeah.
Phineas Forthrop.
Perfect.
But Spike, tell my friend. Spike.
Yes.
Write that down. Phineas Forthrop. I have no idea how to spell it.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Oh, yeah, write it down.
Write it down.
You can't find out.
I think it starts with a P. I have no idea.
Gold. Write it down.
No, it starts with F because I'd already started writing it.
So Kelty Clady, I'm gonna mess up the name. Sorry.
Space.
Says it looks a lot like Microscope. It was. It's actually partially inspired by Microscope. When I was GMing, I was finding myself pulling tools from a lot of different systems. Like I played a lot of PBTA games, and I loved how you could kind of just jump in because of the character connection aspect. So then I started pulling when I was running systems that didn't have that. When I was running Travel or something like that, I would pull questions from different PBTA hacks that seem to match the setting. I would pull from the Quiet Year or Microscope to like create different location stuff. So I was finding myself like shoehorning all these different things into my GMing, my session zeros that weren't part of the systems and weren't really designed for that because Microscope is meant to be like a narrative story on its own. It's not necessarily meant to be like a tool to set up for a campaign, even though a lot of people use it. So then I was like, why am I reinventing all these wheels? Why am I shoehorning all these things into something? Why don't we make a tool that does all these things and it works with any system? So I did the thing.
Deckma was born.
And thus, yes,
Love it.
the unnamed card game that eventually became Deckma was born. Okay, perfect. So we have all four of our characters. Sheriff Cora, Dr. Aditi. What? Say it one more time.
Aditi?
Aditi. Okay, so that. We have Tack, who's a meat truck driver / street racer,
Mhm.
and then we have Deputy Spike.
Deputy Spike.
Nice. Okay, perfect. Okay, and we've already agreed our location is like the first colony on Mars, it sounds like we've branched off a little bit from there. That's a possibility. And its setting is like 80s inspired, futuristic, and the tone is like pretty serious and gritty. Cool. Nice. Sounds good. Anybody have anything else to add?
I think it seems good. I just, as a small generation, maybe we're like the second generation of the first.
Okay.
Like,
That's a good
it's
idea.
been around long enough that like some of us were born and raised here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay.
It's not shiny and new anymore.
I'm not. I came from Earth. I was originally one of the security personnel, and then I've like stayed here since then. That's why I became sheriff.
Okay. So why don't let's decide then. That's a great detail. Who's born here?
Mhm.
Who's actually like Martian and who is like Terran?
I think Tack's definitely Martian.
Okay.
Taryn.
Okay.
Oh, for sure was sent here by his dad.
Oh, I was thinking that you were Martian, but your dad is from Earth, and like you were like the first generation of your family
I can do that.
from Mars.
I can
Okay.
get with that. Yeah.
I like that. Perfect. Cool. All right. So then, just like last time, we were going to start by flipping over one of our character connection cards. So Riley, why don't we have you go first this time?
Okay, I'll do this one. You have a strong connection with blank, and it grows stronger every day. Why? I think that I have a strong connection. I think that I have been forced into having a strong connection with Spike because he was assigned to me as my deputy. So I think that it feels like every day that I can't get out of this required servitude with him. So I think that like every day I feel more and more tied to him as my deputy because like I keep trying to find ways to like get him, like find like reasons that I can get him fired, and then they won't let me. So I'm just like, is that okay?
Okay.
Do you like that?
Yep.
Not for I know that means a little more comedic than like the tone we were going for, but I feel like that is kind of the vibe of like I want this kid going. And I'm frustrated by it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you need some levity.
Yeah, and at the end, I mean, it doesn't even. I mean, I think it could be played in a game both with levity or it can be like really serious. Like, I think this guy's gonna get me killed one of these days, and I don't want him on my team.
Sure.
But like, either way, you can play that way. So.
Yep.
I like it. Nice. Okay. And that's good with you, it sounds like? Perfect. All right. Let's go this way.
All right. So, my first card. Blank gave you bad advice and you paid the price. What happened? Can we go over Nick? Cora, what was your name again?
Aditi.
Aditi
Spike.
and Spike. Cora, Aditi, and Spike. Who gave me bad advice and I paid the price? What happened? I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank on this one.
Okay. You can exit if you want.
I'm going to X this one because I sort of feel like, because it seems like my societal status is a little lower than everyone else. If like one of you guys gave me bad advice, it would almost just like put me two at odds with everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they need advice, blank always comes to you. Okay, well, maybe I'll say Cora because I'm sort of like someone who just knows how like the actual like street level people work.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
In
sense.
yeah.
You're the informant.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm an
like
informant.
a Huggy Bear kind of situation where like I come to you, like find out what's happening with like the guys.
Totally.
Yes.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
But
Especially
Huggy Bear
like,
from the movie.
Yes, you're actually played by Snoop Dogg.
I'm Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the accent. Just know that you are.
I'm gonna X that for tone. All right.
I'm with you,
Yeah,
but
anyway.
I'm an
But
informant.
like,
I know.
yeah, you're
That's funny
Huggy Bear.
joke.
You're Huggy
Funny
Bear more
thing.
like the actual Starsky and Hutch, where like it's
Yeah.
legitimate.
Right.
Yeah, I like that too because it makes sense because like you're driving around all the time, you're gonna see so much stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, so good. Okay.
And like these guys, you all weren't raised on Mars. You
Right.
can't just walk around and like act normal like Martian without people noticing, you know.
Yeah, I'm imagining scenes where like I'm coming down to your shop and it's like you're working on a machine and I'm kind of like leaning against the wall and just asking you questions and you're kind of like talking but you're still doing stuff.
Right.
Very law and ordery. You know?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Put it in
I like
space.
it. Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Space Law and Order. All right.
And now Dick Wolf is going to have
Dun-dun. Yeah.
Law and Order button space.
I would watch that in a heartbeat. You
Yeah,
kidding
I
me?
totally would watch it too. Oh, all right. Next,
All right.
Ben.
Oh. Blank delayed your progress on something important. What was it?
I mean, I feel like we put Cora here a lot, but I'm gonna put Cora here again.
Okay.
Everyone puts Cora everywhere.
Cora
keep
delayed
everyone
my
safe,
progress to like I wanted to be like Daddy promised me chief of police.
Yeah, this totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know, Cora stepped in and said that's not how law works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So made me a deputy to start. Like I have to go through the proper channels.
And just from what we've picked up, it seems like you've kind of learned to take the job a little more seriously since it wasn't just handed to you in the end.
Exactly.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
Griffin88 has a great question. Real quick, do you have to use others in the group? Could Jordan use a family member, in quotes? For the red character connection cards, yes, it needs to be another PC. So the blank on those cards is designed to be another PC because it's meant to like create that backstory connection and those relationships. For the other types of cards, for the location cards and the world dynamics cards, you can absolutely create new NPCs, add family members, add all that stuff. Perfect. Thank you. Good question.
Blank harmed you once, but they don't know you realize it was them.
And that can be physical harm, it could be financial harm, it could be a harm to your reputation. There's lots of different types of harm there.
I am going to say that Tack harmed me by, like you were bringing in shipments of along with like your meat deliveries or whatever, like there was something else you were bringing in like for the clinic, and you got a little like bored and had fun with your driving,
and some stuff was like ruined in the whole,
like some cases got broken, really like harmed the clinic and like the practice.
Sure.
I like it.
So,
I warned you about this though.
but you like you don't know that I know that you were the one who was driving.
Sure. Maybe instead of it just being like I was having some like harmless fun sort of thing, like I don't imagine I'm always the most up and up person. So maybe I even like let it get destroyed by like from someone else, like they or something like that.
Like
you
somebody
know?
paid you off to like
Right. And they were like, hey, just, stop at that rest stop, leave your car unattended for a couple minutes at this time, things like that. And whatever your shipment was destroyed in the process.
Yeah, look
I
at
like
Yeah.
it.
it's awesome.
Maybe Cora knows that Tack's a little bit shady, but she looks the other way sometimes because you give her good information.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, being shady is just kind of how you have to be to like make
Mars
it.
life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mars life.
It's a hard Mars life.
For us.
God damn it!
Ah.
There was more musicals in my head.
And I wonder if like I mean this is gonna get off the scope of the question, but it's interesting to me to like key into this. Oh, so somebody came in and like busted up a bunch of medical supplies. And I wonder if there's a group of like pure Terran kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where they don't like I'm trying to incorporate more like Martian minerals and resources that we have accessible to us to like integrate with the Earth medicine, and they don't want any of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And then we've got like the Pure Terran group as like an antagonist society.
another group in there.
I mean,
Nice.
and then that means there's probably also a counterpoint of like Mars for Martians thing where it's like we don't need any more Terran stuff. We have our own society here now. And we're gonna be what we're gonna be, and like they might be like not necessarily protagonists, but like maybe a different type of antagonistic group. And both those groups have issues, and like it's hard to trust either one of them.
Earthers. Damn Earthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I love that.
I think I'm the sort of person where like I'll go to the Mars bars and like complain about the
Amount of nuts
the
in it.
Earthers, but like I'm not on the pure Earth or pure Mars groups.
Right. Nice. I like it.
My job's to keep us all safe. I don't care where you're from. I just want to follow the law and keep us safe.
So that's our first round of character connection cards. So
Yes.
I'm going to flip over my group dynamics
maybe
cards.
my
Or
good
we'll
time.
Ooh, yeah. Together, we failed to reach an important milestone or goal. Why did we fail?
Feels like it should be some sort of like colony like goal that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe by 100 years of the colony happening, we were supposed to have some sort of like self-sustaining agriculture.
I was about to say, like, if it was some kind of like start on terraforming or something like that.
And maybe like a plague broke out, and like so like you feel like a failure because as a doctor it didn't quite work out. I feel like and maybe there was like some sort of implication that maybe somebody sabotaged something, and so like I feel like a failure because I didn't stop it. You feel like it because maybe like you were paid maybe you looked the other way or did something differently when now you wish you hadn't, and you're Spike.
And specifically, so this is a like big idea for what the thing could have been, but maybe it was that there was like an event at the 100-year mark that was supposed to like release something into the air that would have spread to the rest of Mars, and we could have gotten out from under the dome.
Yeah, something to like. Okay, well, we now finally have the catalyst to make
start
Mars
the reaction.
that makes that Mars air breathable.
Yeah. And maybe because it was a plague, there was a fear that if we released that thing out into the open, then it means the entire planet would now have this like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like
the pathogen would be released, and like we would never be able to contain it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice, I love it.
I feel like my dad was.
Should we draw
involved in
stuff?
this.
Oh yeah. We're gonna. Oh yeah. Well, that's our last question. So we'll draw stuff in just a second. So yeah. So I, as the GM, that's a fantastic gift you've given me. Thank you so much for that. So as a GM, like if you're GMing, you're like, oh okay, and make a note of it. Be like, maybe it's the pro Mars group that was like, no, this is how Mars is. This is how we live. We're under the dome.
Yeah.
And that's
we're domers.
Yeah, domers, exactly.
Yeah.
So totally stealing that from The Expanse, by the way. But
Totally.
yeah. So I'm going to pass this around. So as we do these, if you weren't here earlier, we're going to add things to the map and start filling it in.
Okay.
So I'd like for you each to start filling things. And why don't we start with your medical clinic?
Okay.
Like where that is. And if you have an idea for what you want to add to the map, like you don't need to do, like I asked questions the first time to kind of guide us through it. But if you're like, oh, this is really a thing that my character, I want added to the map for my character, you can do that.
Sure.
I'm gonna make it kind of central because it makes sense that like everyone should be able to get to the map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Very good.
Well, it's super simple because like, yeah, look, it's a cross.
It's
Everyone gets this.
Yes. I'm the medic. Why do we pass it that way? What would you like to add, Ben?
I was going to add where Spike's family lives. If I may.
You may.
You have the ground level. I know that we're doing, a certain thing. Maybe a little. They live up.
Like an elevated platform.
An elevated platform.
I love
Kind of.
that.
It like exactly in the center. I'm not going to draw a circle in the center of this circle because I don't want to be rude. But it's
This elevated platform shouldn't be called the air Eola.
it's like the air because it's in the air.
Oh my god!
And it's like an
What if it's like a little like it's like a bubble on top of the
yeah,
bell?
like
There you go.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
like there's two
Yeah.
circles. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
So bad I messed it up. Sorry.
Here, it's a square, so you
That's
can't-
good.
It's a square.
So good.
It's a square.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll put this as above, just so you know it's in the sky. What did we say? What did I say? His real last name was like Forthrup.
Yeah, something
It
like that.
was Forthrup.
Pooja the note taker. I love you so much.
So this is the
Phineas
Forthrup estate.
Yeah.
And I spelled it Forthroppe.
Oh, PP.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, you know
okay,
you.
there we go.
That is canon now. That is how it's done.
So that's the
that's-
Forthrup estates.
That's what happens when you let me spell things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Great. Pass it this way.
And who was your dad again? What was his position?
He's the head of the corporation that created the dome.
Sure.
He's
Which is basically in charge.
yeah,
Like
Okay.
yeah, like he's the god of,
the
he has a bit of a messiah complex.
the corporate
My father.
government combo that is the organization.
The organization.
As much as I hate that we're kind of making everything... Oh, this next picture looks how strong is real, because I was trying to draw a sheriff's badge, but I actually drew in blue. So I basically drew a Star of David. So let me just fill that in.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, we get it.
as much as I want to be Spaceballs, I think I better go ahead and think. So I think that like as much as I don't want to
label
draw
it, say-
something else in the middle of
I'm drawing mine outside of the domes.
stair
I mean, it's
station.
okay that we start stuff off in the
Yeah.
center and like go up.
Branch
from
out.
Yeah,
there.
it feels like all the like important. If this is the planned dome, it feels like the important government things would be in the center of town.
Nice.
And then I think the sheriff station actually is multi-storied, so there is a floor that's like on the like ground level,
Oh,
but there
okay.
is a way that like the upper crust can also enter from the top, so they don't have to go through the riffraff to speak to the police or whatever.
Nice. I like it.
And there might even be like as much as the core doesn't care for this, there might be like a cozier like dispatch desk up top that's like someone who's designed more to be like more hands-on with like the upper crust clientele, whereas downstairs it's kind of more just like take a number, we'll get you when we
Like
come
it's
in.
more of a reception area.
Yeah.
as
Ooh.
opposed
Has more of
to
a DMV
holding pen.
Yeah, it has more of like a DMV vibe downstairs and
Mhm.
has more of like a nice like reception upstairs. Yeah.
Oh,
So
we kind of talk about a dome, but it could be like massively.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like we have our own like mini skyscraper kind of situation.
Yeah.
yeah. So I drew just on the outside the like racetrack where we do stuff, and one thing I thought about is that this like out of dome racing part of it is that you only have the air in your car like the whole time, so it's
Oh.
considered
the
like
timer?
very dangerous.
Oh
Like,
yeah, because if it breaks you can't breathe. Yeah.
And as you get like to the end, like you start like losing your.
Oh.
But that's like kind of considered part of the high
Yeah.
for like dune racers.
Nice.
Like,
I love it. Yeah.
Excellent. Label
And-
your thing though.
yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that like time element too.
Mhm.
It's not just that you lose the race. You might like lose your life, and not just by crashing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that.
And those trucks have to be like super heavy too, don't they? In order because of the gravity change.
Yeah. I think it's like very much not technically legal, and I think that there's like a definite gray area between what the like what the law allows and what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's also like y'all control the road, so it's hard for even the sheriffs to enforce not letting races happen because all the truckers are who are doing the race.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Because maybe there's other domes, and like you actually do like smaller domes, and you actually like you do some shipping between the two like other
Oh.
locations.
Sure,
That's
that makes
why
sense.
like otherwise why would there be trucks outside the dome to begin with?
Yeah.
Mhm. And that makes sense too that like you bring in meat and stuff because like the agriculture is separate from this that's the main like living area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have like the farming dome and the animal husbandry
Yeah.
dome and things like that. Like satellite mining domes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe some like
Oh my
research
God.
facilities and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And just imagine like a cow dome, and it's just
Yeah.
just full of methane.
And what if like a lot of those domes are like mostly automated?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah.
The methane pumped in to the dome. That's how you get your natural gas. It's from the cow dome.
There we
Yeah.
go. Nice.
And that fuels other
Okay.
domes. Yeah.
Next
Mhm.
so
round.
that's the end. So oh yeah, sorry. Next round. Ooh, sorry, we're talking so much stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing our location round this time. So you mentioned other domes, so why don't you add those to start while someone
Okay.
else does their first location card? Pooja, why don't we start with you this time?
Okay. You impressed a group that was important to our location. What did you do, and who was it? So this is an example of like I had a bunch of the kind of like major arcana kind of cards last time, and that's an example of one of these because I think Ben you had brought it up that this is the Queen of Swords. So instead of just one one thing about the card, this is a three-parter question. So we impressed a group that was important to our location. I think that we impressed Mars for Martians.
Okay.
Whereas we may not agree with everything that they do, and like we have these political groups, but they are important to our location because they form like one of the major political parties there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that we impressed them by, I want to say there was like a I'm gonna use this thing that you told us to ignore, and I don't care. So
Okay.
there was a like a fault started to form in our dome,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nice.
and we had the option to accelerate the terraforming to make the air breathable, but instead we went for the safer route and repaired the dome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And it excuses my bad drawing. Now it's something important.
So what you're
We've
saying
just
is
drawn
that this isn't a
inspiration
flat.
from-
What you're saying is it actually went like this.
Uh-huh.
So the crack
It's like at a diagonal.
is like at a diagonal, but you're
Uh-huh.
saying it flat. I see.
And for a long time, and you
adds
still can.
dimensionality.
Yeah, dimensionality.
You can still look up into the sky and see the crack that like grows up into the air like a
Oh.
giant like rift in the sky.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I like it.
And like, I think a lot of people are kind of anxious about it all the time because like it does feel like it's like a ticking time bomb for like when the dome's gonna crack at some point. But,
Totally.
Yeah. Nice.
and like maybe you were able to be so helpful to fix it because you actually used like a medical thing you figured out from working on Mars
yeah.
to fix it.
Well, part of the dome, it has like a bio component.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Nice.
And so I was able to use some medical knowledge
Yeah.
to MacGyver
Cool.
my way into that.
Love it.
It's basically the chocolate bar of the nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Make sure you label it, and Ben,
Um,
we're gonna have you flip over your next
It's full of
card.
tardigrades.
Our chat is just trying to make us do Firefly basically.
That's right.
I was hoping we were gonna go more like Ghosts of Mars.
See, unfortunately, if it was going to be Firefly, it would have to look like Southern California, because all the
Right.
planets in Firefly are Southern California.
Yeah.
Our location has a major benefit or advantage over other locations like it. What is that benefit? Oxygen. I'm gonna X this
Okay.
one.
Here we go.
Oh my, that is a piece of art that I just undid. Someone you idolize in our location let you down. Who was it? How did they let you down? Thank you. So I'm gonna actually make this canon then.
Okay.
The whole situation with the plague and like that.
Mhm.
That was all caused by my father. Because the corporation didn't want to terraform Mars yet because they get too much money by making people live in their dome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And I found out about it,
Yeah.
which drove me deeper into the police force.
Yeah.
Which,
I
you know
like
what?
that.
I love that the corporation wants to keep the dome going because so does the Mars for Martians to a certain extent. And there's probably like a weird amount of them like feeding into the people's like minds like, no, you got to stay under the control of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this corporation and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. Have you
I
told?
wish that we could get this better. Like
Or it
this
could even
art is
be-
amazing.
That's good.
I know you probably can't use it for. In
I
the
can't
deck,
use it.
but
Yeah, but it was a good deck. I found it was fun.
It could almost even be that like the corporation and the Mars and like that connection isn't as publicly known.
Uh-huh.
Like the Mars for Martians, like they're trying to take our dome away,
Mhm.
and then like the Earth for Earth people are like we don't want to make Mars a new planet. We want Earth to be like, but like somewhere at the top of both chains are people who are actually working against everybody else
Sure.
for their own benefit.
It's the shadow,
Yeah.
like the shadow powers.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, so you found that out.
Yeah.
Did you tell the rest of the group, or is that something you know?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Okay. So then do you want
Either
to go? I went first, so how about you go and then I'll go after you.
Okay. All right. Bwomp. Someone in our location is richer than all others. Who? What rumors have you heard about them? And this is anywhere. Okay, so let's like drill down on like who your father is exactly. Did you have a name for him already?
No. Steven.
Okay.
Stephen Forthrop.
Okay, Stephen Forthrop is let's say he's almost portrayed as like this godlike benevolent father figure
Nice.
to everybody, you know? Like you'll see videos of him and he's like, I'm keeping Mars going. Like you're the most important priority to me.
He's an Ayn Rand character.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And most people just know him as like a giant face that'll show up on the television screens
Yeah.
and give declarations, be like, things have pushed back, you know, in Mars, but we're still better than we've ever been. And you have the entire backing of the Forthrop Corporation,
Nice.
even though maybe this is just like a small part of their
Forthrop
thing.
is for you.
Ah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. So yeah, add something on there. Maybe it's his estate.
I'm gonna
His
draw.
estate's already on there.
Oh, it is.
I'm
okay.
gonna draw the screen that he can project like from the top of the dome.
Oh, nice.
Look at everybody.
That's awesome. I love that. And make sure that slogan is somewhere on there. Forthrift is for you. Very good. All right, while he's drawing, do you want to flip over your card?
Yes. So, our location has a valuable resource. What is it? How does it help us? I think that our location does actually have better access to medical supplies than any other because we are a civilian, and like it's on us to keep the people alive. And so like when other domes like are in need of like life-saving stuff, they have to come to us for it. Which is also kind of how the Forthrup family uses their dominance over this dome to control the rest of Mars, and also why they wouldn't really want to get rid of the domes, because then if people can travel freely between them, then they wouldn't need their monopoly as much.
Nice, I like that very much.
Like all the first responders are here. Like emergency services all get based out of this dome.
Yeah, all the main warehouses that like stockpile medical supplies are here. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll draw for that. I will put away from the fault area, maybe over here, maybe by where we have the dunes track area kind of happening. I'll say that there is a series of like storehouses. So I'm gonna put these here, and then I'll just say like medical. I'll put med supplies.
Nice.
Wayland Yutani, building a better future.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone's done a location card. So the end of that round,
Building a better tomorrow.
each character should decide what keeps them in the group. So what keeps you, like, not in the location, but in this group specifically? Like, what about this group keeps you here?
I just want to keep this community safe, and these people are helping me do it. So till they stop, I'm sticking with them.
I think for me, it's just that it seems like these people are really trying to do what they're supposed to, and there's not a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, I feel like Aditi feels like there is a way forward here that if we're going to survive as a species on this planet, we have to come together.
Yeah.
And that these people represent that in a lot of ways.
Nice.
Yeah, my eyes have recently been opened to the real world, and these are the most real people, so they're the ones keeping me grounded in that.
So it seems like kind of overall, we've all sort of realized that in like a super corrupt system we have here, like we're for people who are like actually trying to do to make things better.
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Very good. All right. So we've done one character connection, one location. So we're going to do another round of character connection cards. You've gone Ben, I think it's your turn to go first.
Okay. You have great ideas, but blank doesn't seem to appreciate your talents. Guess what?
Aditi does not appreciate your talents.
I have great ideas. Sheriff.
All right, rich boy.
Nope. Nice. Very good. All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Blank's connections helped you get something important. Who got it and what was it? I'm going to go with Aditi on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to say that I have a younger sister that I like take care of.
Love it.
Who had like some serious medical condition.
Oh.
And you like, no, and she was just going to die. And you like saw what was going on and helped me like get the actual like medication and the stuff that I needed. And I owe you for that. Like that was important.
Nice. I love that so much. What's your little sister's name?
My little sister's name is going to be Aurelia.
Okay.
Nice.
Because native Martians tend to give Roman-based names.
Nice.
As like sort of just a
Okay.
tradition thing.
And do you want it to be the plague we talked about earlier? Or do you want it to be something new? Okay.
It could be the plague, but actually it might make sense for her to have like some sort of...
I feel like if it's something new, and because what I'd like to riff on that a little bit to say that like she had one of the diseases that's coming up in the Mars generations.
Okay.
That like, okay, we didn't know that this kind of gravity and being exposed to these types of foods that we have and stuff like might affect development.
Sure, it can be some sort of
And
like
so-
scurvy osteoporosis
Exactly.
sort of deal.
So it's like it was a bone disease like similar to leukemia or something like that.
Weak bones.
And that people is a brittle bone syndrome, I guess. But but in working with you and your sister, I was able to manufacture a cure.
Oh, okay. Nice. I like that. So something that maybe like in gestation, like while someone's pregnant, sometimes this is happening, and then she's born with that.
Here's an idea. We could call it just like, so it's more of an overarching thing, and it gets worse as it goes on. But they call it the Martian limp because it sort of starts to manifest itself by like them just kind of walking funny because they're
sore.
Yeah, their bones just.
Or they didn't. Instead of like brittle or whatever, your bones didn't grow at the same rate.
Yeah.
They should have.
Maybe because of the gravity.
Yeah, the gravity and the nutrition just like kind of did it.
It's different.
And especially amongst like lower class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. That's fascinating. That's very deep. I love that.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Or even if it's not
We're doing character this time? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're doing character?
Yes.
Okay. Mine is, you think that blank will cut and run if things got risky. Tech.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Practical man.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a fast machine. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see it spike as well, but since I already used spike last time, I'll go attack for this one.
Yeah. Very nice. All right.
Okay. Blank reaffirms everything you believe in.
Oh.
Cora.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Just
It's
wanna
like,
keep people safe.
yeah. And that's what we do.
Nice. Very good.
And we work next door to each other, so like.
Yeah. You keep yourself safe from what happens outside the body. Inside the body, I'll keep them safe from what happens outside the body. Sometimes they mix them and we help each other out.
And I feel like there's a lot of like us after like really bad days or like really bad events.
Yeah.
That we like go into the office and have like a glass of whiskey each.
Yeah.
And just are like, man, things are so effed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. All right. So to end that round, our group revealed a major truth about someone powerful. Who was it and what did we reveal? And I'm going to say as a GM, like I don't want more connections with your dad. I feel like we have a lot of that.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
we can X this card or we can come up with a new person in power somewhere.
I would say X the card only because I think at this point in the game we haven't already revealed anything. I think
Okay.
like that sounds like something that would come out through storytelling.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you already established beginning and where we go for dramatic tension.
Okay. Our group had a streak of good luck and did something amazing. What was it?
Oh.
Hand me the blue. Yes.
Well, we already have the thing with sealing the crack in the dome, so what's something along those same lines or connecting that somehow?
It doesn't necessarily have to be heroic. It can just be something that like shocked and amazed everyone. So there could be like, but it also could be something like super heroic and exciting.
I feel like it could be something like we needed to get to one of the outside domes. And Tack drove us, but he had that limited oxygen because there was additional people there.
We made like a run that is like a record like distance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a place called Kessel or something. You know.
But yes, something like that.
Something.
We call it the Smoky Run.
Yeah.
But okay, so how about
we went to the Texarkana Dome?
how about there is an
Gumballs.
abandoned secondary dome that used to be another life dome that was out there, but they sort of gave that up, and there were medical supplies that were there, and at like a really bad time, we took like an extremely long run and we couldn't even refuel for like oxygen there.
Nice.
And it was just like one of those, there was no way we should have made it back.
Yeah.
But
Let's tie in everyone. Like maybe our doctor came up with like some sort of shot or something that made it so you didn't need as much oxygen.
oh, that's a great, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
there was like a I was gonna say portable.
Oh yeah.
Like you know, like when you have those little oxygen things that are basically like the size of a can.
Respirator.
Yeah, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's like this will hold this much oxygen for you. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Canned air. Sorry, space.
Yeah.
I know.
And how did Cora help?
Oh, I'm trying to think of how. I think Cora looked I don't think she went on the run,
Okay.
but I think she looked the other way and made sure that y'all were able to get out of the city, and she kind of like held down the fort while you were gone and kind of covered for you all to do it. So like maybe it's why she started to trust Spike a little bit more, because she knew that he was willing to defy the like city government a little bit to help out with this, because like at the end of the day her goal was to keep the city safe, and this did it despite the fact that it wasn't necessarily the most legal way to do it. So.
Well, and maybe like the higher ups, like you knew that those supplies were in that other dome, and you made an official requisition for them, and the higher ups were like, "Oh, we can't do that. It's dangerous to go to that dome." But it was because they wanted
to sell them. Yeah,
they didn't. They wanted the plague to keep going. They needed the population to decline or whatever.
Yeah,
and you looked the other way and let our
I kind of helped cover for you while you were gone. And
nice, perfect, very good. All right, so that was our second character connection card. You can see, like, after you play a couple times, like I almost had to not talk this round at all. You've all been doing this all yourself, and it goes a lot faster too.
Yeah,
so it's great when you fall into the patterns of it. So we're gonna now do our second location creation round. Grab the map. Okay.
I love that Obscura keeps adding just a little additional.
Yeah,
to
really
this.
good stuff.
Yeah. Aquifer pipes for that dome were substandard. Short half-life of the material resulted in widespread heavy metal poisoning.
Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah,
It's like, we abandoned it for the new upgraded dome, but those people in the know that it's because that dome was actually killing everyone.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
so great.
We love
And
that it
maybe
was
even
killing
like
everyone.
found like refugees who were like barely hanging on for survival on the other dome, and you brought them back, and that was part of it.
Love it.
Like,
I think it's your turn to go first.
All right. So my last location card, it will be many people in our location just won't face reality. What hard truth are they avoiding? My temptation is just to make it like that Forthrop doesn't care about us. Like maybe that's part of it, and there's almost like a religious like element to like trusting Forthrop and everything. And pretty much everybody who's not like in the top of things, like if you insult him, it's almost like fighting words.
Nice.
Sort of thing.
I like that. I also want to kind of like add on it, since we have like this crack in the dome. Maybe like infrastructure is starting to deteriorate.
Yeah.
So like people are like, oh, Forthrop will take care of it.
yeah.
But we're starting to see more and more little things going wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that like the dome is actually not sustainable, but like people don't want to admit that, and like the corporation doesn't care because they can keep making money. They'd rather everyone die and they can get maximized profits than spend money to like
or
manage
like
that.
force us to keep buying domes from Terra.
Yeah.
To like ship out here, and we'll just keep replacing domes and keep replacing domes.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
this never-ending yoke.
Yeah.
So I love that idea.
Yeah.
That in the end, like the dome will give out.
Yeah. Well, it was designed to make it until you could start terraforming.
Yeah.
But now that's been
Now they found they can make more profit by not doing it that way. It's like now they're like trying to solve the terraforming, but it's going to cost lives. And like maybe like you even as a Martian, like you want to believe that
That's
we
okay,
live
we
in the
can fight it
dome,
later.
but you also like are starting to go, oh, maybe we have to get rid of the dome. But and you don't want to admit that, but you have to.
There are people on the streets being like, "Can't you see the crack?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Get a job."
Yeah.
They
got
fixed it. It's
Yeah.
just there. It's fine. And I'm like, oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Should I draw anything for that?
Yeah. You can draw something. Maybe you were saying that there's like a religious thing. Maybe there's a religious center for it. Or
Sure.
maybe there's like an information center of some type.
Yeah.
Or corporate offices.
Yeah. Maybe there will be like the Forthrop Museum or something.
Okay.
And that sort of serves as a like cultural center, but is also basically a church
Cool.
sort of thing.
Love it.
The propaganda machine.
Like the Getty.
Yeah.
See, boys, I can see that as an anti-government, anti-corporate protest cycle, and the cracks are starting to show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
Literally and figuratively. Nice. All right. While he's drawing, why don't we have you flip over one of your cards?
Oh, I did. Mine was. They just did. Oh.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, we're doing a
You're
location.
right. You're right. Sorry, I forgot we started all over.
Yeah.
Our location is celebrated with something that happened in the past. What happened? I think the fact that we are the first dome that's actually been able to sustain a second generation.
Okay.
I think the other colonies tried to, and they never made it even close to long enough for a second generation to grow into adulthood.
Okay.
And we did it. So I think the first day that a Martian-born citizen turned 18 was like a day of like massive celebration. Like we finally did it. We succeeded in this task.
So is that is that whoever that was who turned 18, are they kind of like a celebrity?
Yeah.
Even though they're not really, they didn't really do anything?
Yeah. I think his name is Little Joseph.
Okay.
But he's like an adult man, and he's like, I'm not a little Joseph anymore. I'm like actually kind of yeah.
Do you want to give him like more of a Roman name?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're right because of that whole Roman thing. So almost a Little Caesar. That wouldn't work.
Romulus, Remus.
Yeah, his name is Remus,
Okay.
Little Remus, and then he's like, I'm an adult man. Like he hates it. He hates being known as that.
Uh-huh.
So I'll say, I'm gonna say there's a statue outside of the dome that was built. And the reason why it's outside the dome is they feel like that like it makes like part of the Martian atmosphere. Like that's what we are now. So like yeah. So
I like that a lot.
We're here. We're safe.
It's a statue of him standing without a helmet.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. I
But it's like
that.
10% more good looking than he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the statue.
Only 10%.
Well, they wanted it to be ready when he turned 18, so they started it like way before he was 18.
Right.
So that by the time he actually got to that age, he's like, oh, that looks kind of like him.
They base it off of that ancient actor, Ryan Gosling.
There you go.
I also like that since all the there have been other domes that failed. Like that's probably another like pride propaganda thing, you know? like,
Yeah.
the dome that stays up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. All right, Pooja.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a Walker restaurant roll.
Yeah.
What kind of art is popular in our location?
Ooh.
How do we get to enjoy it?
I like that.
I like all these things. Nothing is impossible with Forthrup.
Yeah.
This is air.
This is air. Man, Chad is so good at all these sayings. And I can only see like all these like slogans on like monitors and stuff as you walk by.
Well, it's projected directly onto the dome, too.
Well,
Yeah.
oh my god, and the this is air thing could be part of the movement that's like the artificial oxygen they wanted to create and the rest of it. We don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
Dome air is real air.
Real air. I love it.
This air is pure.
Yeah.
I am going to say that because of like the limitations of space,
Mm-hmm.
that the art that is most popular here is music,
Okay.
and that it's become a like big kind of remote concerts and stuff like that are projected out into the Martian space.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like the instruments are played like out there and fed back and all of this stuff, so you get this blend of like how the sound works in the different gravity
Oh, okay.
and like it comes back and all of this like, so it's very heavily like modified electronic, but like starts off with bass instruments, but then gets like put through all this stuff.
So does that earth come? I mean, does that music come from Earth and we
I think
just
like
like project
the
it
bass
here?
instruments are like Terran instruments. It's not, we haven't gotten like I think far enough to make whole new Martian instruments yet. So these
Sure.
are instruments that people brought or like knew about from Earth, and they use them here, and then but they've started to incorporate the difference in sounds from Mars.
It started to become its own like Mars.
Right, because I like the idea of playing it outside of
Mhm.
where the quality of the air is different, which means that the sound that the instrument makes is absolutely different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it has to travel differently.
Yeah, and even the gravity would like affect how some of it sounds. That's
Exactly.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So
Now I want NASA to do
Do orchestras
yeah,
on Mars.
I want to hear what it sounds like on Mars now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put
that's a really
like,
interesting, like scientific question. Actually.
Yeah.
I like Mars synthesis as a
Oh yeah, there we go.
name.
Yes.
The Mars synthesis music. I love it. Cool.
Just
All right.
gonna set up some speakers on the other side of the
Nice.
Then we have another
the
great
track.
tagline. Martian music is that shines brighter than the stars. Oh, Martian
Yeah.
music that shines brighter than the stars.
I like that.
More propaganda slogans for the
Yeah.
monitors. I love it. Awesome. While she's finishing
Oh,
drawing,
is that true? Is resonance just resonance? Is it not?
yeah, maybe that's a good question. Why don't we
need
do
a Space Force to tell us.
oh, your last blue card.
Last blue card. Oh God. Horrible things are happening. How are exceptional members of our location recognized? They live higher in the dome. Like people who have either earned their way
either they've made more money or they've been lifted up. Like little Remus, he absolutely lives above.
Yeah.
Just because he's the one who's the second generation who's lived the longest. Like,
and the in kind of a Final Fantasy VII sort of style, the like worst of the worst locations are the ones that are actually under like the major part of the city.
Yeah.
Love it. Very good.
Yeah.
So do you want to draw?
Yeah, the people who live on the outer edges by the dome have a pretty decent like middle class vibe, and then like the great people live above everything, and then like the slums are underneath the thing because there's like no you get like no direct sunlight because of it.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, on the outer dome you get the view of Mars in front of you.
And that actually makes the Martian limp worse.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and here's the thing. They would never just leave them in shadow. They have a giant like sunlight that they have under it, but it's not
But
as
it's not
good.
actually
Yeah.
light. Yeah.
doesn't help you make vitamin D and all those things.
And they get taxed for the power that it causes to run the sunlight.
Oh.
It's called high society.
And, well, there's a great idea from chat that the top of the dome or the crust of the crust is called Olympus and the slums are Tartarus.
Oh,
like that.
Go with that whole Roman
Okay,
theme.
Although
Olympus is better.
I think
But I feel like
Olympus
that's-
is its real name, and Tartarus is like the nickname that people place under it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So the end of the round, my card. What do we do as a group when we are feeling down?
As a group, because I know what I do.
Yeah. But like, is there a certain place we go? Is there like a bar? Is there?
I think a bar makes sense, right?
Yeah. We've already talked about how we kick back with some whiskey afterwards.
Okay.
So, I think there's probably a bar we go to that's maybe not super political either way, so we don't feel like we're like dealing with workday stuff.
How about it's a bar called the Rubicon?
Okay.
Because that was like
Yeah.
kind of Martian.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah, add that on there.
And yeah, maybe the name Rubicon is even like a name that kind of got given over time because it was like the place that like was kind of like the divide, the river between the two sides. So,
Right,
Like, no one's
yeah.
crossed. Like no one crosses the Rubicon, and like everyone. It's like known as a place. It's like a peace. It's like a peace spot. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could do Redican.
It's the Switzerland.
yeah,
Oh, it's Casablanca.
yeah.
There we
It's
go.
Casablanca.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. That's a good reference for that. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know, Casablanca was a movie.
Oh.
You've seen it parodied a million times.
So this last round is all World Dynamics cards. So again, we will all collaboratively help with this, and we all have to agree. So it's not just the people involved. I think we're back to you, Riley.
Okay, and I will say, like you said about going faster a second time, it took us less than an hour, and that's still including stopping to like explain things. But like, so we did get through a lot faster than that first
Yeah.
time. So like, once you get it, you get it. Okay.
Also, quick idea. Sometimes we call the Rubicon rubies.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah. What does the group believe is the reward for good deeds?
Oh, I don't know why I keep trying to pass that to you.
Is that always something that we're concerned with, or maybe should we try doing a different card for that?
Oh, I kind of wonder if we can just tag it a little bit that, like, instead of just what our group believes
Yeah.
is a reward for good deeds, what is this bubble society's reward for good deeds?
I think like the cultural belief is that like everything that helps the society and helps the future of Mars. Like everyone kind of has this ingrained idea that they are helping this new society be created, and that's why like maybe like it allows the Olympians to like keep their power a little bit because we're all going, no, we're all trying, they're working really hard to make things better for us, and like maybe like we're starting to doubt that a little bit, but that's like the overall society's like
Maybe it could also be like because the other domes have failed, we have something that's like domes fall when people lose touch or something like that.
And then the reward is like, it's that whole idea that because they're working really hard, it's an oligarchy, so the people who work really hard are in Olympus.
Sure.
yeah.
And like if you can make enough contribution to the society, you'll also be an Olympian.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Very good. All right. Puja.
Oh man.
Okay. There is another group that are our allies. Who are they and why do we trust them?
We've already established the kind of Martian people, so I don't want to use them again.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're your allies. Like there's things you like and dislike about them, and you work
Sort of
together.
seem to be an enemies kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
what if there's another dome that's like not as big, not quite as self-sustaining, but like it's almost like somebody had mentioned before. So we went out to the former dome where everyone like it was the other group that got left behind there. Like ended up being able to splinter off into their own smaller dome.
Could be like that, because you just had a whole thing about the, everything for the society. Like that's what this society says.
Yeah.
But we all know that that's not how it is.
Well, and it probably was for a long time.
It was, but it's not like it. That's the nice shiny paint on the corruption that actually is happening, whereas that group really does live by that rule.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Nice.
And they've set up a Martian, like the Martian style, like agricultural dome. Well, I already have an agricultural dome, but that's like our.
But theirs is different because theirs is actually like their dome is more sustainable. Like they do eventually want to make it outside the dome as well. But there is like no, we've actually managed to make it so you don't have to drive around to other places. You don't have to be dependent on supplies coming from Earth. Like I think the secret behind
their dome is actually self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, add that to the map.
Yeah.
Very good.
And we're gonna call it Phoenix. I like that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
like a commune, bunch of hippies.
All right. Will you flip over your card then?
Cool. How did our group first meet, and what went well?
Do we answer this already?
Do you think that would sort of be the? Well, I mean, you guys met probably first, and then we probably met because you helped out my sister.
Yeah, and I already knew her because of we just work in the same area. And
we would have already had, like, we would have also known each other just from way back from both being, like, part of the original, like, Terrans.
Sure.
And then, because I interact with your department so much, because Sheriff's Office, Medical Center.
Yeah.
That's how I also met Spike that way.
Yeah, so it's less how we met and more how do we become a cohesive group, I would say. Yeah. And I think that run to that dome was probably
I thought that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe the reason you even found out about my sister and doing it is because you started looking into me because your shipment got lost that I was driving.
I like that.
And then you like recommended, it's like, all right, I think I know somebody who can help us when we needed to like make the run.
Nice. All right, I like that. Good.
Great.
All right, your card, Jordan.
Each person of the group should pick one word to describe a positive aspect of their personality.
Okay. Anybody can go if they have an idea.
Of our own personality?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be positive too.
Dedicated.
Okay. Nice. We can go in any order. We don't have to go around for this one.
Adaptable.
I'm going to do streetwise.
Nice.
Loyal.
All right. I like that. I like that. That's not a thing I was thinking about with your character, but I like that you add that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Everybody's done their world connection. So we have our last card for this one. Ooh, the star card. I like that one. Something important happened. This one is sort of already answered too. Something important happened that gave our group shared purpose. What was it? We've already answered that card.
We've gotten that.
Let's do once more. In different house.
What line has the group already crossed?
I think that we already established it. We openly defied like what the like rules were going to be.
Right.
Yeah, but like
I feel like that's a dome line.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a personal
That's a
line
good
for your
point.
group.
yeah. It's like, what did we do that like went against what we would normally do?
Yeah.
And even crossing the line for the dome, we did it for the good of
That's
the
true.
dome.
Right.
That's true.
So did we do something that was like selfish?
Ooh.
Or even if it was like, well, we told ourselves that like it's for the greater good, but we did like burn down that Earth for Earth warehouse or something like that. I don't know.
What if we gave something we needed to the other dome, the one we talked about, like that Martian dome, is like more self-sustaining. Like maybe they really needed something that we had, and like we still need it on our end, but like they really needed it, and like even though it hurt us to give it to them, we like felt like we can't not do this.
Right.
So.
I like that. And then whatever it is, like I want to add a little bit of like that gritty tone we agreed on earlier. So like you gave it whatever it was to the other dome, like wanting to help, like good intentions, but that had some serious repercussions. So people in our dome died.
Yeah, like maybe it was like medicine. We thought we could like we thought we could skate by until another shipment came in, and then it didn't come in, and then people died in our dome because we gave the medicine to another dome.
What about instead of medicine, it's like an air filtration system?
Okay,
I like that better because I feel like we rely on medicine a lot, which makes sense. But yeah, it's like, okay, well, you need these scrubbers until yours come back online.
Yeah.
And the air quality, especially in like Tartarus, has started to go down. And we originally kind of thought like it can handle it, it'll be fine, because we trusted the specs that were in the thing. But it turns out more of them are broken down than we realized.
Nice. I like it. Very good. All right. So that is Deckma. So we've done two things.
Very different things.
Yeah, super different.
Almost like a pretty, almost high fantasy steampunk story. Yeah. And I mean, we didn't have any like magic and stuff, but still, like, I love this.
But it was starting to get that vibe. I actually really I feel like the first world kind of went a different direction than we expected it to. But was still really neat by the end.
Well, even this one, like we kind of lost the '80s mall vibe. Like I think aesthetics wise, like if we imagine this, we could still see it being very Blade Runner-y. But I think the way we described it ended up being almost more like '60s and '70s style, like sci-fi movie type thing versus like.
Also, everyone in chat kept mentioning the river Styx. It's super cool. So maybe the name of the racetrack that everyone has is the River Styx.
Oh, I love that.
I love that. Really nice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we've been playing a game called Decuma. If you go to goldenlassogames.com/Kickstarter, it's kickstarting right now. We are active until March 3rd, so we still have 15 more days. And it's already been funded, so you definitely will get it if you back it. And the cards are going to be really beautiful. It's very exciting. Last thoughts? Did you guys have fun?
I love it. I actually want to try that DM's version of it, just like writing. Like, like if I'm like stuck working on my novel, I want to like pull some cards out and go, I could probably do this with it.
Nice. I love that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in for the RPG Exploration Society. And this is Saving Throw Show. And
before we go, I just want to use this platform. I'm actually going to be back on next Wednesday, where we're going to be doing another one of these. They wrote, what is it? The
RPG Exploration Society.
Yes.
It's going to be an ongoing series now.
But we're going to...
honorable and ancient.
So I'm also working on another Kickstarter that, not to give...
No, it's fine.
For the Altered Carbon RPG.
I backed that.
And I backed it. But we're going to be here with our original Saving Throw crew from the Acme show. So myself, Mason McDaniels, Amy Vorpal, Tyler Rhodes, and Ivan Van Norman, one of the creators of the Altered Carbon RPG, will be GMing. So
awesome.
If you can, tune in next Wednesday.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Dom.
Oh, and Dom.
Yeah.
Dom is always here. He's in the air.
He's always here. Nice.
Dom. I mean, we wouldn't be here without Dom.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna kill me.
Let's go around. Pooja.
Hi, I'm Pooja. Once again, you can find me most Sundays at the Happy Jacks RPG. We're currently playing Call of Cthulhu and Vampire 5e, and coming up, I'll be playing again with 12-Sided Stories.
Exciting. Very nice.
I mentioned earlier that the second season of Gamer Rassilon, my Doctor Who role-playing game podcast, is currently available, where I play the Doctor. It's very fun to do. And I am a writer for Nerdist and Sci-Fi Wire's Fangirls Vertical on Sci-Fi Wire. And a couple of really big things come up that I can't talk about yet, but I'm excited, so I'm just going to I'm going to steal the line from Doctor Who season teaser, which is, watch this space.
Yes, nice.
So.
And I'm Jordan Pridgeon. You can follow me on Twitter at Jordan Pidgeon. I'm on our normal Friday night show, Wildcards, which we just finished up our third season of our East Texas University campaign, which is sort of like a Buffy-style things are going on under under the surface college setting. So we're not starting up again until like March on that, so it's a great time to catch up on everything. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Yep. And I'm still Kimmy. I run the Happy Jacks RPG Network. I'm the Dom of that network, which sounds different when I say it like that. And you can find me on every Wednesday. I'm running a Masks actual play called Eidolon Academy with some familiar faces from Saving Throw. You can find me every Friday night at the Happy Jacks RPG podcast for our advice show, where we talk a lot about GMing and running games, new games, things like that. And then every other Sunday right now, I'm playing someone who shoots a lot of things in Call of Cthulhu, and it's very exciting. And you can find Deckma and all my other games at goldenlassogames.com. And so, yeah, thank you so much.
Bye everybody.